Hello, welcome to the chaos. Welcome to the chaos. It is a big week, a very, very big week, and we're going to have a guest today that's going to come. I won't tell you who it is. You'll see later. We have a guest coming, but right now, check this out. Let's get rolling. Greatest co-host in the world. Watch 2K99. Get ready to rumble.
The tag team champions of the world.
My brotherly creeper.
That is the best intro I have ever received.
The world. The Buffalo Jets man.
Yo.
George Fant is a barely above replacement level, pretty good left tackle.
How can you say
Compare
that when
that
he
to
was
an-
top 3 in sack percentage last year for left tackles?
And I think when in doubt, until you have better reason, go with the optimistic view. And our defensive line is going to be giving a lot of people some trouble.
But yeah, it's got to be. I'm with you. I don't like the Nathan's fries when they're like floppy. It's got to be like done really well. You know, it's very hard to teach 6'3" and 4.3 speed. That's very rare. The talent's there. He's just got to put it together mentally.
Right.
To get
You're a
on
cheater.
to you, I'm a cheater. I love that long promo. It gives me time to get ready, clear my throat, get some people in here. What's going on, Harlan? Let's say hello to some people. Harlan is here. Twisted is in here. Twisted is a heavy snacker, and I appreciate that. Big sponsor of the channel. I appreciate you, Twisted. Good friend of the channel. And my favorite moderator, Grandizer, here moderating, doing all this great stuff to help my channel and supporting. He wants nothing in return, everybody. Nothing in return. This is just a guy who appreciates the channel, appreciates our community. He's a Dolphins fan, but he likes us, and he likes hanging out, and he likes the good talk and respects, I guess, the way we handle ourselves, and look at the support he gives this channel. So I appreciate you, Grandizer. Everyone should always give Grandizer some love and some appreciation. He's definitely one of the good guys, and I appreciate him. We got, who else is here? Let me look. Randy, what's going on, buddy? Thanks for coming. Thanks for being here. Proud New York Jets fan. Keep looking at your at your phone later, buddy, because that's what she said. Just stay alert, buddy. If you're interested, stay alert. What's going on? Oh man, we're getting a whole new wave of people into the show. I mean, and a lot of them were watching for a long time, but finally started chatting it up. So we know that they're there. Here's one of them. Thank you. I hope I say your name right, Lise. What's going on? I appreciate that you're here, brother. And we got another one of our snackers, the master snacker, the original snacker, the one and only, the guy who named these snacks, Jets Mess. Thank you so much. Appreciate you, brother. Good to see you here tonight. Johnny G is here. What's going on, man? It's a must. We got to get the monkey off our back. I know. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk a lot of New England Patriots, I promise. Salty Nalty, my friend. I used to think of him as this old man. Like, I didn't know what to imagine. But he's really like this big construction worker guy going, hey, yeah. Just a little bit older, which I think is hysterical. Love him to death. We got Mike Kaz. What's here, buddy? I love seeing all the people that watch the games, the watch parties with Green Bean and I. It's so cool that then you end up coming here and hanging out too. I appreciate that. Dom C, one of the big contributors to the channel. Appreciate you, brother. We're closing in on 2,000 subs, and couldn't not have gotten here with Dom C and the guy I'm about to bring into the show. So I mean, I appreciate everybody here and the people that have supported this channel as we approach a new horizon. I'm so close. I'm like, less than 20 subs away from 2,000. It's pretty exciting, and I appreciate everybody here that helped make it happen. Raw Power, what's going on, buddy? It's good to see you. And let's see, did I get everybody? I just want to make sure got most people, called you out. I'll try to catch people later. It's time to get moving, get shaken, and bring on, you know who he is, my co-host. But we got to pump it up. We got to get some energy in here. So let's do that. He came in third place in Gunny's raffle. You could taste the jersey, but he came in third. Who came in first, you ask? We'll get to that. We'll get to that and find out who won CJ Mosley autographed jersey from New York Situation Report. We will get to that. But for now, let me introduce the hot dog eating, pizza eating, Ranger loving, Met loving, Jet loving, Nick loving, the one and only greatest co-host in the world. Watching K99. What's up, my brother?
You know what, Jeremy? As a sports fan, we are prone to exaggeration. There are many times when we say, this is the greatest, this is the best, this is the most fun, this is the worst, this is the most embarrassing thing that I have ever seen. Well, I'll tell you what, this Sunday, it is no exaggeration to say that this is the biggest freaking game the New York Jets have had in more than 10 years. And we get the extra bye, the extra week to get ready, to prepare for it. We have the opportunity to step into first place in the AFC East, past the halfway mark of the 2022 NFL season. Who would ever thought we would be here? But we are, and the doubters are still out there. They still don't want to believe. I still hear the talk about Zach Wilson. I still hear the talk about Robert Saleh. I still hear people who don't believe in keeping the receipts. Well, you know what? This is the chance that the Jets have. They've exercised a whole lot of demons this season, my friend. And this time, they can exercise the demons by taking down New England and hitting them where it hurts in Gillette Stadium. Sunday can't come soon enough. I am ready. How are you?
I am so pumped, man. I said it as soon as that game ended. The last game ended where they beat us. I said to Green Bean before we left that channel, I said to everybody that was hanging around, we are going to beat these guys the next time we play them. We're better than them. We shouldn't have lost. And guess what? The stupid penalty, the bonehead mistakes, 3 of them by our quarterback. It's not going to happen this time. They're not going to get bailed out this time. This is ours. We got this game. We're going to be in first place. It's just a matter of time. You can mark it right here. I am so confident in this game because I know that we're the better team, and I know that we're not going to be kept sleeping. We're going to come in full on, full of energy, and Zach Wilson will be the Zach Wilson we saw against Buffalo. I promise you that, everybody. I want to say thank you to T-Jet for dropping in and saying, hey, before you had to go to work. I hope you have a good one, and I hope you got to stick around long enough to hear my shout out. But I appreciate the support for the channel, my friend. Green Bean's in the house here. By the way, he put a link in for me to look up Brutus the Barber Beefcake because I saw a picture. Green Bean released a video with Brutus the Barber Beefcake on the thumbnail, and I had to laugh at that right away because, man, he was a funny wrestler, man. When he used to come with the scissors. Those were good times.
The infamous barbershop. Yes, the garden shears. Yes. I was so young and impressionable. Like in his promos, he said, well, come on down to the barbershop. I'll be sure to take care of you, brother. And I'm like, where's his barbershop? I asked, Mom, where's Brutus Beefcake's barbershop? We got to go check that out. Oh my god.
Well, I just want to say this. It's funny. Proud New York Jets fans on the same brain wavelength as me. I'm predicting 23-6 Jets. Now, Nick is just saying they're going to pick up a garbage touchdown. That's the only difference between our predictions. He says they're going to get a garbage touchdown. It's pretty much the same thing. Basically, we're going to flat out beat them. to me, losing would be them pulling off an upset. That's how confident I am. We're the better team. The only way they win is it's an upset because we're better. We're better than them. We are. I'm confident of that. We're going to dominate that offense. There's no reason we should dominate them the entire game. I'm feeling more confident than I ever have in a game in years as a Jet fan. I really am. Most games I'm nervous. I'm more nervous about the Bears game and Justin Fields and him running all over us than I am about New England. And it's true. I can't tell you why. It's because I don't feel any pressure coming into this game. I know a lot of people do. I don't. I feel like, no, I just want these guys back. I want them back because we should have beaten them last time. If we would have beaten them last time, I feel pressure. Division game, it's hard to sweep a divisional foe, all that stuff. But I don't feel that way now. I feel like we're going in to take back what they took from us.
Personally, I feel like there's a whole lot of pressure when you could easily be either in first place at the end of Sunday or in last place in the division at the end of Sunday. Now, I will say this, and I mean this very seriously. Yes, we have the Disciple, we have Ed Leslie, we've got the Booty Man, the Butcher. Yes, the many, many, many names of Brutus Beefcake. Yes. Oh my gosh. But here's how I think. I am actually more confident in the Jets winning this game than I was the first game against New England. I came on Green Bean Show, and as much as it hurt me, I predicted the Patriots would win the game. I just did not have a good feeling about it. And I would rather have been happy and wrong than sad and right. But that's how it turned out. This game, I feel like the Jets know what they have to do. I think Buffalo was their grow up game, if I can use that phrase. At this point, we now know the Jets can play with anybody in this league. They can beat anybody in this league. And I think they have, as young as they are, I think they have enough leadership and guidance to where they're not going to let a game like that, give them a big ego. I think Salah's got these guys focused all through the bye week. I've heard it in the interviews. It's like, guys, don't be sitting around eating nachos, and all that kind of stuff. He's very focused on the task at hand, and that's one thing that has me very encouraged about him. Oh yeah, don't worry, GVH. We're going to talk a lot about Stevenson. We're going to talk about a whole lot of things in this game. That we're going to break it all down. But I will say, I am, you gave your score prediction. Right now, I'm thinking 20-16 Jets. That's where I am right now. I got a lot to break down, but I do believe the Jets are going to win this game outright. Jeremy, you're muted. Muted chaos.
Muted chaos. I don't want everybody to have to hear my sneeze. I love it. I love your take. I love the fact that Jets Nation, Gangrene Nation, UK Gangrene. I mean, it doesn't matter who you're talking to. Jet fans all are believing. We're believing. There's no more, just a few people believe and a lot of people don't. No, we as a fan base are together in this. We have accepted and embraced the fact that we are for real. We are not pretenders. We are for real. This is not some coach pulling off tricks and stealing games with weird strategies. This is pure talent. And this is talent that's finally coming together and getting the experience of being well coached. When you talk about guys like Sauce Gardner and you see these defensive linemen, Huff has exploded, and we knew he was good. We knew he had a great jump off of the ball. We knew he did. And then it's just showing now. Quinton Williams, we've been waiting forever for this. He's finally healthy. We knew this is who he was. We just needed to see it more consistently, and that's what we're getting. The talent is there. Sauce, Reed, JJ is getting sacks now. I mean, JJ, a rookie, he's coming in. Jermaine Johnson, sacks. And then, everybody, JFM, everybody's playing well. The defensive line is harassing people. Our secondary is untouchable. Our linebackers and safeties that we thought are a weakness are strong and playing well. And even our backup linebacker, the depth we have. Sherman came in for 4 plays. What do you have, 3 solo tackles? This team is stacked with talent. And guess what? When Mitchell and Fant come back, we have the deepest offensive line in the NFL. It's out of control.
And now we have a doctor on the offensive, or we seem to be bringing a doctor back to the offensive line, because as good as it is, we absolutely needed some depth on that interior offensive line. I don't know about you, but I am not very confident if Dan Feeney is the only interior depth that we have. Now, I've heard people say that Mike Remmers can play guard as well as tackle. But at this point, if he has to slide in, that's fine. But I really like the idea of signing LDT and putting him on the practice squad, because you have a couple of chances to promote him. You don't have to actually sign him to the 53-man roster. So if worse comes to worse, then you have, more backup that can plug right in. And I've said it before. I seem to say this thing every week, but I can't emphasize it enough. As this offensive line goes, this entire offense will go, especially Zach Wilson. The numbers are out there on how this quarterback does when he's under pressure versus when he has a clean pocket. The numbers are not just drastic. They are outrageously different in terms of completion percentage, touchdowns, interceptions, all of that. This offensive line is going to make this team. And I'll tell you one thing, and I want to make this point very clear up front. When people talk about the Jets-Patriots game from 2 weeks ago, what everybody seems to talk about, or just casual fans seem to talk about, is Zach's performance and the mistakes he made. Well, you know what? How about this? How about the run game does better than 15 carries for 51 yards? Because if we can only run for 51 yards against New England, we're not going to beat them. We are not a team that is designed to win shootouts right now. Now, we get all our weapons back. If Corey Davis comes back healthy, we might be a little bit more able to throw the ball downfield anytime that we want to throw it. But this team is going to win by running the ball, controlling the clock, and kicking everybody's ass on defense. And that's the way that we're going to go. I don't want this to be a situation where we keep scoring, where we have 2-3 play drives. I want to grind it out just like we did against Buffalo when we held the ball for 6.5 minutes with 8 minutes. I mean, you said it and I said it, even though we weren't, on the same show or anything like that. You were saying, man, on a nice long drive that would last 6 or 7 minutes would just be unbelievable. And I had the exact same thought when I was with my club, hanging out, watching that game. And that's exactly what they were able to do. And one run after another, our jaws were on the ground. Like, is this real life? Are we really watching this? This offensive line with multiple backups is imposing its will on supposedly the best team in the NFL and maybe the best defense in the NFL. That's exactly what they did. We did it to them. There is no reason we can't do it against the New England Patriots as well.
I love this. We the people, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. I know Y2K appreciates it. We love the thought. We love the support.
Thanks,
we appreciate you. Man, he's fun since he joined, huh? Just he got active in the chat, man. This guy, he's everywhere. Everybody loves him. He's hysterical, man. He sends me messages that are so funny. So I love this guy. He said the Jets win by 40 and Zach slams Mac's mom.
Mama Mac.
Mom Mac.
Mama Mac.
I love this. We can't see him, or maybe you could see him in the chat. I can't see him, unfortunately, because there's YouTube issues.
Yeah.
But Return of the Jedi, Rusty Spooner is here.
Yes, he is, and he's still begging for Jared Patterson. He hasn't stopped.
Oh, okay, Jared. Okay, so look, Rusty. I'll never doubt him, man. Like he made some. He's a great preseason. He's the king of preseason. He's the king of mock drafts. He's the king of that stuff. And believe me, in the offseason, I'm going to be we have to figure this YouTube thing out, because I got to get him involved in telling us and pointing us to Rusty's Hidden Gems. So, or Rusty's Diamonds, I think.
Rusty's Diamonds.
Rusty's Diamonds. So we have to bring back Rusty's Diamonds. Of course, that's much later on, because we're not going to be doing that early this year. That's not going to be until February that we're going to be talking about Rusty's Diamonds. But we got to get all the technology worked out, because he knows how to point out the great young players we should be looking at for the future, because he's being proven right this year in a lot of ways. So a lot of his guys are coming through and doing their thing. But we the people, thank you so much for the super chat. We appreciate it again, and I agree with you. The Jets are going to win big. We got this, baby. And I cannot wait because, man, we've waited, like, what is it, 20 years since we've been in first place this late in the season?
Man, oh man, oh man. I mean, I don't know if we were ever in first place in the second half of the season during the Rex era. Maybe we were. I don't think we were. I think we were close, but I don't think we ever quite got there. 2015, we never got there. It was we're always the second team, always the bridesmaid, never the bride, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really recall. If anybody in the chat remembers, if you can remember a time the Jets were in first place since 2002 during the second half of the season, definitely let us know. But yeah, it's put it this way: we know they didn't finish in first place, so that's pretty much about. Oh, the year with Brett Favre. The year with Brett Favre, they were in first place for a while before they went on that losing streak. They beat Tennessee, and then they went to the tank. That would be the time.
That's
Yep,
right.
that one just hit me.
2007 or 2008?
2008. Yep.
Yeah.
Then Rex came in for 09. So 2008 would be that one time.
All right. Well, it's been a long time. And that's what we're playing for. And it's like from a technical standpoint of football, right? When you talk about forget about rivalry, forget about getting the monkey off our back, forgetting all those things. When you talk about it from a very technical standpoint, of course, it's a very big game. It's a divisional game. Later could play a huge factor in the determination of wild cards and seeding and all that stuff. There's no doubt about that. But let's be honest. Every game in football is big because there's only 17 of them, right? And unless you're dominant and you know you're going to win 13 plus games or whatever it is, and even at that level, it's big because then you're starting to compete with the other top team and you're fighting for first place. So I mean, it's never not big. Technically, we've had much bigger games in our history. We've all watched bigger Jet games that have more meaning because we've watched them in the playoffs. We've watched, 2015 to get into the playoffs. We've all experienced bigger games as far as the implications. I mean, the reality is the Jets could lose, then they can go on a 3-game winning streak, and no one's, it's not the end of the world. Like they can still come back, they can still win, and all that stuff, right? But we can't discard those other things that I said we should discard. The reality is that we have this monkey on our back, and it definitely affects the psychology of the locker room. It definitely does. Having a team beat you for years, and even this team, the guys that aren't, the rookies have lost once to him. Anybody who's been here for more than a year have already lost 3 times at a minimum to them. If you're Quinn and Williams or guys that have been here longer, you've lost 6 times to them. So you can't tell me there's not a psychological thing going on, and we need to get it off our back. And then most importantly, it's big for us. It's big for the fans. That's who it's big for. Bigger than it is for the team, probably. We as fans need to beat New England. We need this. We need this to happen, and we can't just, because everyone will say, oh, but there's next year. We're going to continue to be good. Yeah, but do we want to wait another year? We have waited too long. We're the better team. We already had to sustain a loss to them, knowing we're the better team. We saw we were the better team. I don't want to wait anymore. This is big. We need this because to me, it erases the final thing. I mean, not really, because making the playoffs would erase that drought as well. So that would be the final drought. But this would be the final hurdle to then shoot for the playoffs and end that drought. You know what I mean? We won a team against the division with doing all these things we haven't done. This is the final thing. And then we turn towards the playoffs.
For me, I'm going to bring this stat back. And I did a video on it before the first game, and I'm going to say it again. The last time the Jets beat the Patriots in regulation was when they beat them in the playoffs. It was the divisional win in 2010 in Foxborough. That's how long it's been. It is still amazing. And 2010 was also the year, the regular season. That was the last time that that was the last time we beat in regulation. It was 2010. So regular season or the playoffs. And since then, I think it has now been 24 or 25 games we have played against New England where we have not beaten them in regulation. It is time for that to end. I know the players don't feel that. I know the coaches don't feel that. They can only focus on the task at hand. They don't need to deal with the history. They don't have to go there. but we know what it means. And they know what it means. They all know when you think the New England Patriots in the last 20 years, you know what that franchise has been. We all know what that franchise has been, and they haven't exactly gone to the tank ever since their, let's say, championship run ended. They're still a formidable opponent. They are a team to be reckoned with. So this is now the first year, though, when I could say legitimately the Jets are the more talented team. I don't know what the last year was when I truly felt that. And I am feeling more and more confident now in the coaching staff than I ever have. It seems I don't think they did a very good job coaching against New England in the first game. I mean, the fact that Michael LaFleur only called 15 runs and 41 passing plays was just abominable to me. But he called nearly a perfect game, I felt, against Buffalo, with the types of play calls, whether it was the fake punt, all kinds of things. I thought Mike LaFleur was absolutely on that particular day. But I'll tell you what I'm interested in. You have to think. We know how much Belichick loves to take the opponent's biggest strength away on offense. At this point, to me, that's probably Garrett Wilson. That is the Jets' most potent offensive player at this point. And last time he went off on him. He had 6 catches for 115 yards. They're going to do everything they can to take Garrett Wilson out of this game. I think they're going to bump him early, try to take him off his route, because they also know Zach is at his best when he has these quick throws, these quick reads. He's got to hold the ball for no more than, I would say, 3 seconds, 2.5 seconds, 3 at the most. Once you get past that 3-second mark, that's when he starts overthinking. That's when we see zany Zach, as I call him. And then you never know what's going to happen. You just pray the play doesn't end in a turnover. So LaFleur has to counter the counter. If you understand where I'm going with that. You have to come up with plays where, whatever they may be, where New England's going to try to bump these receivers, play uptight on them early, and then Zach has to counter that when he has the ball and he has the opportunity to throw a pass.
I mean, look, you can only focus on so many things, right? So if they focus on Garrett Wilson, do they announce if Corey Davis is playing?
He didn't practice today, but he is day to day.
I mean, I don't mind so much. I mean, I would love for him to play, but I'm stoked about Mims. If it's Mims on that side, I'll take that big body. You worry about him, and if you want to focus on Mims, and then we got Elijah now. He's going to be coming out of the slot more. The point is that we got a full arsenal of weapons, right? So you want to take Garrett Wilson out. You're right. Our counter to that is we're going to let you take him out, but he's going to take out the guys that are taking him out. And now we're going to eat you alive with the rest. So rather than force it, rather than call plays where he's number one in the progression that forces Zach right away into the second, third receivers, no. We're going to call plays where we're looking to Mims first, where we're looking to Elijah first, where we got plays designed to get the ball to Conklin, designed to get the ball to Michael Carter, safe passes, short passes, eat them alive on the inside, short, 5 to 8 yard gains per play. Just eat up the ball, grind them down, grind that defense down, whatever it takes. But whatever it is, and if they surprise us and they have a different strategy, I think you said it, Adam. It's about the adjustments. It's about countering what they do, right? So it's a chess match. And one of the things we haven't been able to do that I thought we actually would have done last time we played them 2 weeks ago, though. So I shouldn't say that. I think the one thing that changed them is last year they outplayed us, right? They destroyed us.
Oh, completely.
Right? They won the chess match. I don't think they really won the chess match as much as we think 2 weeks ago, because there were 2 of those 3 picks for Zach were not chess. It was bonehead mistakes. It was just physical mistake. He didn't get the ball far enough out of bounds, and one, he lofted one. So we were a penalty away, that ridiculous penalty. I'll never forget it. It's going to haunt me forever until we win something and make the play. You know what I mean? Until we beat the Patriots, that penalty will haunt me. We were going to be 17-3 on score, and that would have been a totally different game, and we would have won the chess match. So I am so confident that whatever Belichick tries to do, we are so ready for him.
Yeah, and another thing with special teams, that made a huge difference. The Jets have had a very good season on special teams, but it was terrible that game because our line missed a field goal. Our return game did nothing. They had a 32-yard return at one point, and those turnovers that we had, they were giving New England, really short fields. The defense did an amazing job to stop them. And then, Nick Folk just hit 5 field goals. So special teams, that made a huge difference in that game as well. So, yeah, that's definitely not something to forget. But as far as really what concerns me on this Patriot offense, Ramondre Stevenson looks like their biggest weapon right now. In the last game, he had 7 receptions for 72 yards and 71 yards on the ground. That's one thing the Jets have not been very good at is their coverage. Now, their linebackers have been very good at stopping the run. And I'm talking about Quincy Williams in particular, but you could throw Quan in also. They're good at stopping the run, but when it comes to coverage, they're a little bit vulnerable. So they have to figure out a plan to get that taken care of. Because, last time Sauce Gardner locked down Jacoby Myers. Jacoby Myers is the only Patriot wide receiver with 20 catches or more. Okay, he has 40 catches. Not one other Patriot wide receiver or tight end has 20 catches this year. Okay, in other words, they don't have a whole lot of threats. They don't have a whole lot of guys that are going to keep you up at nights figuring out a game plan. Randy Moss ain't walking through that door. Okay, so I have every confidence Sauce is going to lock him down. DJ Reed can take care of Devontae Parker, whoever else they want to throw out there. Nelson Aguilar, take your best shot. But I think that gives the safeties a little bit more carte blanche to play up a little bit and to watch for these short throws to the Stevensons, to the Harrises, to Hunter Henry. That's another player who I feel like has not been used that much this year by New England. He wasn't used that much against the Jets, and I got to tell you, that was a player that I was pretty concerned about. But it's really about Stevenson in this game for me. And the linebackers, I think, are going to have a lot to do with how this turns out. Last time the Jets had 6 sacks on Mac Jones. That's something that we forget. 8 quarterback hits. 3 of those sacks are by Quinnen Williams. Quinnen owned the Patriots that day, and I expect him to do it again, even if David Andrews, their center, does come back from a concussion, which he's expected to do. All right. The Patriots' offensive line is going through a lot of changes right now. Their left tackle, Trent Brown, he didn't practice today. He had a few reps, but without a helmet on. He was practicing with the backups. The Patriots say he's not hurt. They say it's a maintenance day, but it's hard to, at this point, it's a little bit uncertain. Their backup left tackle is Isaiah Wynn, who's been benched several times already this year. Okay, Cole Strange did not have a good game last week. The almighty first round left guard, and so the Jets can absolutely exploit this Patriots offensive line. They need to do exactly what they did last time, but they can't sell out. I believe they can get to Mac Jones with 4. But the linebacker coverage, I think, is going to have a lot to do with the outcome of this game.
Yep. Take care, Nick. Have a good one. Sleep tight. Get some rest. Good luck tomorrow. Yeah, look, I think that both teams are going to have a similar strategy, right? Based on how many times we sack them, they're going to want Mac Jones to get rid of the ball fast. They're going to want to run to get Stevenson running. They're going to want to get a short passing game. And I think we're going to want the same thing because Judon, we don't have anybody who could stop him if he lines up on the right side. We're doomed, right? So Zach has to get rid of the ball. So it's actually perfect timing to have Elijah in the slot more because I think out of the slot, Elijah can get out off the line of scrimmage faster. And Conklin, man, is going to have to, and Michael Carter and these guys. And luckily, Robinson is also really good, in the passing game. He's a good receiving running back. We're going to need that because it's going to be a game of a lot of dump offs and short passes. I really believe that. Now, I wouldn't put it past Belichick to test and to take shots if he thinks he can surprise us, but I wouldn't put it past us to do the same thing. At any point, we could roll Zach a little bit and have him, to me, it's like we should try it once a game. You have Denzel Mims take off in like a post, just a slant right towards from one side of the field to the other, open field, and you take your shots. You have Zach roll a little bit, buy the time, stay away from Judon, and if you see Mims get a step, you launch that ball. because he's a weapon that we need to use. I really think he's a weapon we need to get involved. And I love that. I think that we have the big advantage of we have the bigger playmakers in the short passing game. Like if we're going to dump off the ball, who can make the big play? Stevenson's good, right? But he's the only guy that I'm afraid of in that sense that will turn it into something big. Whereas Michael Carter could be a home run hitter. Robinson can make them pay. We know that Elijah, Garrett Wilson, and Mims, all three of them, and Berrios too, are all capable of taking a 5-yard pass in the air and turning it into something big. We got multiple weapons at it. You know, we don't have our best weapon, which was Breece Hall. He's out. We all know that. He was the home run hitter. But we got a bunch of guys who are very capable of getting lots of yak. That's yards after catch for those of you who don't listen to Jets X Factor and Joe Blowett. But like plenty of guys. I think that we're going to win that battle. And it's just real. We just got to be really focused on what Belichick is doing. And we have to, our coaches have to be aware and be fast with the adjustments and not, if anything's working against us, we have to change it up. Now, I hear people saying we got to run the ball. We're a running team, right? Defense and running. That's the big core of the team. But at the same time, a short passing game that lets your guys just quick out passes, quick slants that let you guys turn extra yardage. That is kind of like an extended running game. So if they're stuffing our run, it doesn't mean you have to drop Zach back for 3 seconds. You can call very quick plays that helps them get rid of the ball and get some of our other weapons into space. And that's what I think we have to do.
Yeah, and I'll tell you another thing that the Patriots don't do very well. They don't stop wide receivers very well when they get the ball behind the line of scrimmage. New England's allowed the 6th most rushing yards to wide receivers this season. Okay, so I like the idea. I wanted Berrios to be used a lot more during the first game this season, and it felt like he was barely on the field. So to me, Berrios is the kind of guy I want to see get the ball behind the line of scrimmage and then see what he could do. But I got to tell you, I just have this weird feeling that Elijah Moore is going to have a good game. I don't know why I feel this. The fact that I think he's going to get more snaps, that the focus is going to be on Garrett Wilson. I have a good feeling that Moore is going to make a bit of an impact in this game. It's very strange, but I think they got something working for him. He's had the bye week. And you can tell me the Patriots have had the bye week also, but I think maybe Moore just had to settle down. I'm glad he hasn't said anything stupid lately. I like to think we've turned the corner here, but he's going to get his opportunities in this game. To me, it's going to be very interesting. The Mims-Moore dynamic, who, especially if Corey Davis doesn't play, where are the targets going to go? I'm fascinated to see that. The only target Moore has had, it seems like, since last Easter was in the game against New England, a big 3rd down slant that was knocked down to the ground by Dietrich Wise. And that really hurt the Jets. That basically killed a drive that was really working well. So I want to see a situation where where they can figure out a way to get Elijah Moore in space. I think he could have a big game. I can see it happening. I feel it's going to come very, very soon.
That we saw it last year. We know that he can get hot. We know that he has all the talent in the world. There's no question about it. Sully comes in and says, "Hey, Jared, do you think JFM will be able to handle double teams if he gets kicked to the inside?" Love the show. Well, it's an interesting question because I got to tell you, I had a few moments to think about this, and I got to say, Sully, I hope they double team JFM if he steps to the inside, because if they double team JFM on the inside, what are they going to do about Quinnen Williams? Right? So imagine you have Quinnen Williams, JFM, and then you got Carl Lawson and Huff. Let's say those are the 4 at the moment. I mean, it could be Jermaine Johnson. I mean, any combination. You're going to double team JFM. What are you going to do about Quinnen Williams? You're going to put one guy on him? Because if you put one guy on Quinnen Williams, I feel really bad for the Patriots because no, I don't. But he is going to eat all day long. See, what protects JFM is Quinnen Williams. And Quinlan Williams is the guy that if you double team, the problem is he still penetrates. He still pushes forward. And now you got 2 guys being pushed back, and you got the other 3 guys feasting. It's the whole point of our defensive line. You really can't. I mean, how do you double team? You have to keep 5 guys blocking all game. And New England doesn't like to do that because they like to use their, I mean, you'd have to have, I'm sorry, I'm saying the 5 guys plus a tight ends if you wanted to start double teaming guys. And that takes the tight end as a receiver out of the game. I mean, it's tricky. It's not easy. It's like, and if they want to use all these guys to block 4 guys, and we get to keep 7 guys back, this is the headache that our defense causes people. I mean, we're literally talking about the headache. It's like if we only had JFM as our only really talented rusher on the inside, yeah, they could double team him, and it's hard, to overcome that. But when you have Quinton Williams and you have Bryce Huff and you have Carl Lawson and you have JJ and you have Michael Clemens, who's very good, and then you have Shep. I know I've never liked him. He played great against Buffalo. He really did. He had a very good game. So I don't know what to say. I mean, double team JFM and we'll just hurt you with other guys. What do you think, Adam?
I can't imagine a scenario where Bill Belichick gives Quinn Williams any chance to beat the Patriots. I think they're going to do whatever they can to take him out of the game. I can't imagine. Here's the thing with JFM. He's played some time inside this season on the interior defensive line. But when he does, it's in an obvious passing situation, like a 3rd and long. That's when they do that. They're not going to do that in a running situation because he could use his speed there to overpower, the bigger offensive lineman and get to the quarterback. That's when it works. Okay. And it is working because JFM leads the Jets edge players with 25 quarterback pressures this season. It's the way they've been using him about 3/4 of the time outside, 1/4 of the time inside. It's working. So I don't know if I would mess too much with JFM. I know we were talking about using him inside a lot, but I think the way they're using him is effective. Now, that said, I do expect Shepard to get more playing time this week. Solomon Thomas, I don't know. But I guess one of the things that I would do, I would really consider calling up maybe a Tenzel Smart or a Jonathan Marshall from the practice squad for this week. I really want to give one of these kids a shot, even if you only play them a couple of plays a game. Let's just see what there is. I like the idea of Tenzel Smart because he has that explosiveness, that quick burst off the line. Yeah. And we know Jeff Ulbrich and Robert Saleh crave that in their defensive linemen. So maybe the wise move would be to play Smart. See what I did there? And of course, well, the Patriots have wise, we have Smart. That's how I guess it works. Yeah. But yeah, keep JFM outside primarily. It seems to be what's working best this year. He's having a good season aside from the penalties. So
yeah. I mean, look, it's what I love the versatility. I love that Clemens or JFM can easily play on the inside, and we just have so many combinations, and they have no idea what's coming. That's the beautiful thing. You don't know what we're going to do and how we're going to use our players. It's hard to prepare against this Jets defensive line. Daniel Meehan is pointing out that Belichick has a couple of weeks, and that's dangerous when he has a couple of weeks to game plan. And it is a big game, so he's going to be at his best. There's no question. But understand, we've had 2 weeks also, and our coaching staff is growing up in front of our eyes, and they have the more talented players. So check this out: we got 2 very, very big YouTube content providers in here in the room supporting us and watching us. We got Buffalo Jet Fan. What's going on, my brother?
I've heard of him. Yeah.
Yeah. We got the Buff. And then we got, of course, the legendary Green Bean. And he's got a question for you, Adam. He's saying, change it up in blitz. First 2 to 3 plays. Quincy and or Whitehead just send the heat and knock Mac Jones into space. Thoughts? Well, it looks like Y2K99 got knocked out, and I'm going to have to respond to this. And I say, why do you say Quincy? Why do you say Whitehead? Sauce! Sauce is the one that knocks the soul out of people. But yeah, I think that we do have to take the new. We have to do some things that are surprising, right? I mean, I like that we go for a stretch. We're getting there with 4. It's working. It's working. Then you go up against in this big game against a guy like Belichick, and I think the smart thing to do is to throw something new, is to have some tricks up our sleeve. I wouldn't do it too much, but if you're going to take a risk and send some of these guys, especially if you want to send a safety or Sauce and do one of those kind of things, I'm not afraid of New England's receivers as much as other teams. Like, I would be afraid to do that against Miami because they got Waddle and they got Tyreek. And, you send somebody in, it's a tremendous risk. I don't feel the risk as much because I trust that we can cover and we can take care of, New England's wide receivers. But anyway, this question was for you, Adam. So why don't you take it?
Yeah, you know what's funny about that? I go back to the Miami game, because we had Miami deep in their own territory to start the game. That's when we sent Sauce on the blitz, and that's when he knocked out Teddy Bridgewater, and the Jets got the safety. So there's a time to do it, but you do it at a time when you can create a big impact. You have to know when to take your shots. I like the idea of using Quincy or Whitehead on a blitz. I think that's those are the guys who could definitely do it. I got to tell you, I even like the idea of sending Michael Carter on a blitz. I would even do that. I mean, he has the speed, he has the quickness, he has the agility. I think he could do it also. So, but you kind of have to let the game dictate it. You can't do it just a surprise. The circumstances have to be right when you call up that kind of a play. If it's 1st and 10 and the Patriots are on their own 25 or 30-yard line, you could do it, but you have to really think about it. But I think that Olbrich called that play just at the right time against Miami, considering that it was a backup quarterback. Miami was deep in their own territory, and nobody in the world predicted Sauce was going to be doing a blitz to start the game, and it worked perfectly. So yeah, it can absolutely work. But I like the idea of either Whitehead or Quincy, but I would also throw in Michael Carter the second to make that play. And again, like we talked about, I think New England's offensive line is a little bit vulnerable right now. Their right tackle is compromised. Their right guard is not doing too great. The left guard didn't have a great game against Indy, who's not exactly known for its ability to rush the passer. Trent Brown, we'll see what he's doing, but he didn't really practice much today. And David Andrews, the center's coming back from missing 2 games with a concussion. So you know what? The best offensive line would struggle against our pass rush. One that's in flux right now, they're in trouble.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Iwan Just fan, I just want to say, he says, now I get it. That's what she said. Okay. You want to use Carter, Robinson, Ty, and hit them with Conklin, Uzama, Berrios, and more. And here's the great thing, because I saw that later on. Are you laughing at me what I said?
Well, why don't we throw in Jeff Smith? I'm sure he feels left out. Why not use Siege? I think Jeff Smith, we apologize if you're watching.
But but Billy, I'll say, and somebody else said this in the chat. Somebody else was saying, why don't we, do we have plays for our tight ends? And the answer is yes. We've seen it. It's just a matter of situational football, right? When we tend to, so far, because you never know when they're going to change it up. So far, it feels like we've used tight end type plays, Conklin type plays in the fourth quarter when we're down and we need points, and we need to quick speed up the offense for quick plays. And I feel like maybe they feel it's stronger to it's all about timing and when you use it. Maybe there are some things you like to keep in your back pocket for the right situations. And for us so far, the right situations have been in the fourth quarter when against Pittsburgh, we saw Conklin wake up. So, but we don't know. They might start the game this Sunday the way we normally play it in the fourth quarter, and you might see some more plays for Conklin that are designed for Conklin. We'll see. But we've seen evidence that there are plays for tight ends on our team. And we've also know that just based on where our offensive coordinator came from, San Francisco, and where he learned the offense that, he's basically put in place here, it certainly has plays for a tight end, because in San Francisco, there's a tight end by the name of Kittle who we've seen in action. So we know that this offense has a lot of plays. There's a big part of the playbook can feature tight ends, but it's all situational football. And
the other thing I would say, Ty Conklin actually has the second most targets, the second most receptions, and he has the most touchdowns of any Jet receiver this year. So Ty Conklin, he got off to a horrific start to the season, but he's been getting better and better. And there's still some Jets fans, even Jets podcasters, who rip this guy even now. I mean, I have literally heard Jets content providers, none of us, but certain guys saying that they miss Ryan Griffin. Now, I don't know if they were saying that in jest, but they were talking about longing for the days of Ryan Griffin and Tyler Croft. And I don't understand it sometimes. I mean, even CJ, he's only been targeted 11 times, but he has 10 catches. He won't have the biggest games. He's not going to be Antonio Gates, but he seems to be able to make a play at the big time. Look at the 4th down conversion, 2 weeks ago. That's another example. I still think CJ is bound to have a signature play at some point during the season. He has great yak ability, as you referred to earlier, Jeremy. He can take a ball 20, 25 yards down the field. But you know what? If Conklin's going to be the main receiving tight end and CJ's best role is to block and to keep that positive attitude and to teach these guys how to win, then, I don't want to hear about people calling CJ a disappointing free agent. Because, I would sign him all over again. I don't think that's, money poorly spent by any stretch.
Well, people, as fans, the fan base, and I've done this myself, looks at the wrong statistics sometimes. They look at the wrong stats, right? We look at the wrong things as far as making full decisions. Right away, we go to box scores. Oh, CJ had 1 catch for 12 yards. Bad game. It's not true. How did he block? Because if he blocked his butt off and we got 200, if we had an amazing rushing game where Robinson and Michael Carter both get over 70 yards rushing, and it's one of them goes over 100, the other gets 70, and we control the ground game, and and CJ was blocking the whole time and making that happen, then the box score is not going to tell you the truth. It's just not going to be. It's just not a way you can evaluate performance. And the same goes with Mims. He had an amazing game as a blocker, and it won't show up as much in the stats. But Mims was fantastic for us, tremendously productive. An incredible value in that game. There were 4 big blocks he made in 4 important running plays. I don't know if we beat Buffalo if Mims is not such a good blocking wide receiver.
And I'll tell you what, with Mims, that shows me where his attitude is and where his focus is. Because if you're a wide receiver and you're willing to block, you're engaged, even if you're not getting all the targets in the world. That is really giving me an extra level of respect for Denzel Mims. That he is willing to do the little things and willing to do the dirty work. And it shows that he cares about his team as much as himself, if not more than himself. And I do respect that.
Yeah. So this is what I was addressing to before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're not the best team at running screens, by the way.
No, we don't. We don't. I mean,
we don't execute them very well.
We don't execute them very well.
Yeah.
That's okay. I mean, maybe it will be in the future, but we'll see. Well, we got a little bit of flirting going on amongst the celebrity viewers in Green Bean and Buffalo.
Y'all get a room.
Get a room, guys. Snacker.
This is a family chat here. If you come from a broken family.
He's loving the energy. I don't know if I can keep it up, though, Sully. It's hard. It's getting late here.
That's what she said. Yes,
I knew it. It's hard. That's what she said. It's hard to get, again, here we go. 20 touches for Michael Carter is not the easiest thing in the world to do because James Robinson is really good.
Here's to you, Mr. Robinson.
He's really good. But, go with the hot hand. If the hot hand is Michael Carter, I would love to see Michael Carter get a full workload. I'm so sick of people saying he's not a full-time back. He can't carry the load. It's like, I can't stand that because when they say it's because of his, like, yeah, in college, there was another awesome running back in Javonte Williams. It wasn't that Michael Carter can't be a feature back. They had Javonte Williams. So what are you going to do? The fact that Carter was able to get any carries with that guy on the team shows how good Carter is. And I don't want to hear people say because of his size that he can't have 20 plus carries, because we could rattle off running backs that weren't any bigger than him, like I'm drawing a blank right now. Dave Meggett from the Giants.
Little Meggett.
Remember Meggett? And what was the other Giants running back? The other little guy, Morris. Remember Morris?
Oh, Joe Morris.
Joe Morris.
Just before my time, to be honest with you.
Right. There were a lot of small. The Giants had
Willie Parker. Remember Willie Parker with Jerome Bettis in Pittsburgh? I always like that Parker Bettis combo.
Yeah. Barry Sanders wasn't very big, was he?
He was pretty average size. You know,
Okay. So
he definitely wasn't the biggest running back of all time, but he made it work.
Yeah, Tiki Barber. I mean, there's lots of guys who were small, scat back guys.
Matt Forte.
Perfect example. Or Matt Forte. There you go. And there was a guy for Tampa, forgetting his name. Who's that little back from Tampa?
Oh God, I'm trying to think who's been
early 2000s.
Cadillac. There was Cadillac Williams. There was Mike Work done.
Yeah, Warren. See, there you go. So there's plenty of small work done. There go hangers, put it in there. But
are you giving me trivia tonight, Jeremy? Is that what's going on here?
No, but I'm just saying. I don't know why people are so confident that Michael Carter can't be a full back. Will carry a full load. Now whether he's a good enough blocker that you want him in there as every down it's another question. That's a Dom C type question. And that doesn't mean only Dom C can answer it. I'm just kidding, because I just know that Dom C can answer it. But the reality is that has nothing to do with on a given day that Michael Carter can't have 20 plus carries and have a 120-yard game, because he certainly can.
No, he can. I mean, yeah, last week he had 12 rushing attempts and J-Rob had 13. So, right. I mean, that's fine with me. I don't feel like we need him to be a full-time bell cow running back. That's not the way the NFL is anymore. You know, the guys who can do that you could probably count them on one hand at this point. The Dalvin Cooks, the Jonathan Taylors, a couple other guys. But yeah, I don't need to see that. Now you could say maybe Carter, he had a couple of injuries last year. He did miss a couple of games. So if you want to talk about durability, that's fine. Just use him in doses. But to me, since when was the rule you had to have one dominant running back in order to advance far in the playoffs and win a Super Bowl? I mean, who was the dominant running back the Rams had last year?
Yeah, they didn't really have one.
They had a plethora of them. They had a couple guys: Henderson, Akers. A plethora. Like exactly. That's right. Plethora. Exactly.
That's nice. I like the go with the hot hand approach. You know what I mean? And we have a couple of good ones. I think next year it's going to be off the charts. If Breece Hall comes back healthy and we hold on to Robinson, and we're going to have 3 real running backs. One, if Breece Hall recovers fully and and he's the guy he was this year, we have a superstar and we have 2 very, very good running backs on the same team. It's absolutely a 3-headed monster. I love it.
Dude, one thing is true though. After everything comes to pass, after you're gone and I'm gone, the Jets are still around. One thing will remain true. Ty Johnson will still have a spot on this roster.
Yeah.
We can't get rid of him.
I know, you just can't. I mean, it's crazy. But you think that, if Breece Hall comes back, then Ty Johnson, at least he won't be active.
Right.
He might be
One
like
would
the
think
guy that's inactive or something. I don't know.
Well, I hope that Bam Knight at that point takes over that job. That's down the road.
I don't think that Ty Johnson had any serious implosions this year, though, right?
No, he's only touched the ball like 4 or 5 times. So
we haven't given him the opportunity. So.
Exactly. Yes. You want to give him 1-2 carries a game. All right, we can live with it, but that's enough.
I honestly think that we've got to get him out of here for next year, and Bam Knight has to be made part of this team. But
I hope so. Yeah,
he's gonna have another year to develop though, because we obviously we're gonna have 3 top experienced backs. So
it's true. Yeah, he's almost like in a Jeremy Ruckert sort of a situation. Really, it's just that one was drafted and one wasn't. I mean, Rutgers, I don't expect Rutgers to see the field unless Uzama or Conklin gets hurt. I don't see any other way because that third tight end spot, they save that for special teams. And Brant Boyer trusts Kenny Yeboah. He loves Yeboah. Yeboah has played as many special team snaps as anybody else on this team. Hardy, Eccles, you name the guy. He uses Yeboah a lot on specials. And as long as that's the case, there just isn't room for Ruckert right now. That doesn't mean that he's a bust. It doesn't mean he can't play. Not every successful rookie is a very good player in their first year. It's okay for him to have a redshirt season. Not the end of the world. Minnesota, welcome. I hope you have plans to go to US Bank Stadium in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Don't know where in the state you live, but I hope you're not too far from the Twin Cities, and I hope you have some big plans for Jets Vikings in a couple weeks. It's going to be interesting going from we were pretty much the biggest Vikings fans in the world who aren't actually Vikings fans and now we got to play them in a couple of weeks, and the tide is just going to completely turn.
I just love this new trend of there's a Jets fan from every state, and they use the name. We got a Minnesota Jet fan and an Iowa Jet fan, and whatever happened to what's his face, Arkansas Jets fan, the kid.
Arkansas, I don't know what he wanted. Maybe he got grounded. I don't know. We had Georgia Jets fan. I think there was a guy from Georgia.
There may have been.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there was.
Matthew Smith is here. Take the under on the Bills game. It's easy money. It's weird.
What
Came here to give some gambling advice.
That's what we're here for. Yeah. What was the what is the over under? Maybe we should check that out.
You have no idea. On the Bills game? Who they playing? I don't even remember who they're playing.
Cleveland.
Man, Cleveland, man. They're just not good, huh?
I'll tell you what. That weather is going to make that game very interesting. Every prediction I see say Bills by 14 to 17 points. I'm telling you, if it's going to snow as much as we're hearing it's going to snow that weekend, that's going to make it better for running teams. And Chubb and Hunt, if it's like a slick field, a wet field, I think that might really favor Cleveland. It could be a pretty high scoring game. I'm not saying Cleveland's going to win, but I'm saying it's not a gimme for Buffalo. I really don't think it is. I'll go ahead and pull this one.
Oh, look at that. I was right about him being similar size to Barry Sanders.
All right.
My memory served me well. But Barry Sanders had, and I don't know Michael Carter what his thighs look like, but Barry Sanders had the thickest thighs. They were like tree trunks. I mean, it's like you got to look at, these running backs, man, it's all in the thighs. You know what I mean? That's what Chris Sims always says that. He goes, the legs. It's all about the legs.
Gotcha. Bills Browns, the over-under is 47 points. I'm not quite so sure. I got a feeling that the running games are both going to do really well on Sunday in that game. Maybe I just have hope that Nick Chubb's going to have a big game. What can I say?
Yeah. I love.
Oh my God, that was the worst. Not that I'm going to lament on this too long, but on my other money team with the Virginia Jets fans, I lost Cooper Kupp and Dallas Goedert. I mean, that hurt to lose both of them.
James is bringing up a name from the past. I remember this guy, Scott Durking. He was our short yardage specialist, and he was damn good at it, man. It'd be 4th and 1, 3rd and 1, bringing Scott Durking. My dad loved it. They said, this guy's really, my dad was so blown away by it. It's just great. They have this one guy, he comes in for one thing. It's like 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, gets it every time. That was Scott Durking. So, again, if you look at the box scores, you'd never be impressed with Scott Durking's numbers. But if you actually saw what he was doing for the Jets at that time in the early 80s, he was a perfect role player. He did exactly what we needed him to do. The Jets should beat this team. The Jets are a better team all around. I know. But you know how it goes. I mean, we have to find a way to win, though. We got to take advantage. This is the years that, forever long, we're better than New England. We have to actually beat them. Utah Jets fan. Dark Soldier, is that your burner account, though? Is that you, or is it like your friend around the corner and you said, hey, you should be Utah Jet fan? It's really popular nowadays to do that.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Do we have I think we need like a Kentucky Jets fan. We definitely need a Hawaii Jets fan and an Alaska Jets fan.
Yeah.
So if anybody wants to move to those types of states, you can represent, you can claim your territory. Montana Jets fan. That'd be pretty funny.
The game is in Foxborough. You know what? I don't care if it's cold.
I don't care.
That's not a
Great.
disadvantage for the way our team is built.
Works for me.
Our team is built for that. We're not a finesse passing around the world team. Get the ball, just short passes, running plays, pitches, whatever it takes. Just get the ball in our hands. That's our advantage. We got a bunch of explosive playmakers. That's perfect for us. They got one. They got one real scary playmaker. We got a bunch of scary playmakers. So,
it's going to take, it's going to take a great wide receiver for me to have concerns about receiver. When we play Justin Jefferson, I'll be concerned. I'm not concerned about Jacoby Myers, Tyquan Thornton, Devontae Parker, or Nelson Aguilar. I'm not worried about them. Not against not against our quarterbacks. Not against this roster. There's a Game of Thrones winter coming. I heard 30 inches between Friday and in late Saturday. That's the latest forecast I've heard for Buffalo. Goodness.
Cleveland can manage. If Cleveland can manage capitalize on erratic Josh Allen, they can win. They are talented, man. I know they're talented, but man, did they get crushed by Miami, right? I mean, they're so disappointing, this team. It's like they find ways as an organization to lose. It's just crazy to me. Like, they just can't do it. They just, I don't know what to stand. And Deshaun Watson, if he plays, is he eligible to play? I think, or practice.
He's eligible to practice. He's not. They have to face. They have this game, then they got a game against Tampa. Then he comes back against, of all teams, the Houston Texans. How did that ever happen?
I don't see how. I mean, look, if they beat the Bills, that it's more than just being thrilled that the Bills lost. It means that the Bills are falling apart. I mean, really falling apart. Like, something is really wrong. I don't expect it to happen. I can't sit there and pretend that I think that the Bills are going to lose. I think the Bills are going to win. I honestly do. I think they're going to come out mad, and I think they're going to just beat the crap out of Cleveland, if you want my honest opinion. But,
most people think the exact same way. I just don't think this game is a gimme. I don't think it is. Yeah. I think the Bills have allowed 100 and 30 rushing. I don't have the number in front of me, but it's about 130 rushing yards per game in their last 2-3 games. Their rushing defense is not doing well, and against Chubb and Hunt, that spells bad news for them. Yeah. The one thing the Browns can't do, granted, is fall behind early. The game cannot be in the hands of Jacoby Brissett. If that's the case, then yes, the Bills will win.
Yeah. Buffalo Jet fan comes in with the super chat. Could have been on me the money. No, thank you, Buffalo. I appreciate it.
Give me that $2 check.
Thank you, Buffalo. More likely, the Jets D has 7 sacks or 3 interceptions. He loves doing this.
He does.
Wow, that's a tricky one. That's a really good one. He's really good at that.
All right.
Because to me, those are both big things, but very obtainable reach things. I'm going to say 7 sacks. Oh, even that's hard because they'll scheme around that to try to avoid sacks. I think, okay, here's my prediction. 3 interceptions is really hard because they're not going to put Mac Jones in that situation, right? I mean, overall, they're able to put him in situations where he's not going to turn the ball over a lot. And by the time he threw 2, they would take him out, and it would be Zap. But then he would probably I'm going to say 7 sacks, and here's why. Because I'm predicting that we're going to win 23-6. That's why. So if my prediction comes through, that means we're up most of the game, and they're forced to pass the whole second half of the third quarter, fourth quarter. They have to do tons of passing, and we are going to get sacks because of that.
Okay.
I think more realistically, we're going to get 4 to 5 sacks, 1 to 2 interceptions. That's what I think is more realistic. But if I had to take one, I would go with the sacks.
Okay. Actually, so in the last game, the Jets had 6 sacks against New England. 3 of them again by Quinnen, and they tend to happen earlier in the game. I think the Jets will get a decent pass rush on Mac Jones again, but I think it's going to be a situation where he just throws the ball away as much as he can. But you know what? I think the Jets realize from last game. You know what? Let's do to Mac what New England did to Zach. That should be this freaking slogan. Now that I realize that, I think that the Mac Jones is going to have Zach Wilson's game from 2 games back. I think that the Jets are going to turn Mac Jones over. Mac Jones has thrown 7 interceptions this year. And I could see like one of those late garbage time interceptions, like to end the first half, that kind of a situation. I think that it's going to be a situation where the Jets get a pass rush. They may not sack him, but it'll lead to an errant throw. I could see, like a good tipped arm. The Jets get a lot of those interceptions when the defensive line impacts the quarterback, and then you have a nice floater for Sauce Gardner, for LaMarcus Joyner. And I could see that happening a time or two in this game. So I am actually going to go with the 3 interceptions.
All right.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Let's see what happens. Who comes closer? Again, I think it's the most likely scenarios we get a mixture of both. That we get 4 to 5 sacks, 1 to 2 interceptions. Is obviously, but that would be easy. But that's easy to say. If you have to pick one of those hard ones, I guess we will. Oh, that's what she said. I will. We will see. We will see if one of those 2 things happen. Who's right? I will not be upset if we get 3 picks. Will not be upset.
That's good to know, Jeremy.
Yeah, I will. I'll be fine with it. Vervain, buddy. Vervain comes back. Vervain, man, we met way back. Vervain. He's used to watch John from Jets Today. And he was also on everybody else's chat, but I specifically remember Vervain participating with our good friend John. I don't think Bills fans another loss. Fans were turning on the team after last week. It's true. I would love to see them melt down after thinking they were Super Bowl favorites. It is interesting, but there are a lot of Bills fans that insist they very typically go into mid-season slumps. I'm not going to turn my back on the fact that the Bills might go on a run again. That's why I think what Green Bean's point is while they're down, every loss they get is huge and tremendous. Because if they do get hot again, we want them to have as many losses in the book as possible. Right?
Well, I'll tell you what. How about we take a look at the Bills' remaining schedule and see what we think? How about that?
Yeah.
I mean, we could do that right now. I've got it right here.
Oh, you got the Bills schedule?
Yeah, I've got it right here.
Okay,
right.
Go ahead.
So, all right. So home against Cleveland this week, then at Detroit, then at the Patriots, and that's going to be a prime game. That's a Thursday night game, December 1st. I may have to subscribe just to watch that game, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Then home against Miami, at Chicago, at Cincinnati, and home against New England. They still have 2 games to play with New England, and of course, then they have us for 1 game as well. Somehow this thing is on. Yeah, and they have us December 11th. This schedule will put all the Jets games at the top. So they actually have in a row at Patriots, home against the Jets, and home against Miami. They have 3 division games in a row. And 4 of their last 5 are against the division too.
Let me tell you, if they were playing New England one more time, I'd say, they're just going to beat New England. But for them to beat New England twice, it's not easy.
No, it's
not easy.
They have as much talent realistically as just about any team in the league, I would say, when you factor in offense and defense. But what they are showing now is an ability to beat themselves and to not execute on things they should be executing on. Remember last year, Jacksonville shut them out. To this day, I have no idea how in the world that ever happened. That was completely shocking. I mean, I don't know how many survivor pools died that day. But Buffalo is showing a little bit of a midseason thing. Maybe they just have to turn it up another gear. Maybe it's a little bit of a malaise. Maybe there is a little bit of arrogance sneaking into them. I mean, the fact that they didn't kick that 1 field goal against Minnesota to go up, I want to say would have been 13 points. I don't know. Maybe Sean McDermott, maybe his head's getting a little bit big where, he's starting to believe his own BS a little bit. So I don't know. The Bills could be a great bully team where they'll beat up on the Lions, they'll beat up on the Bears, but they've got some good teams left on their schedule. A lot of divisional games, and then you still have to go to Cincinnati. That's not going to be an easy game, I mean, and going to Chicago on Christmas Eve. Even though the Bears defense is pathetic, I mean, we've seen what Justin Fields can do. So who knows what might happen in that game?
Yeah. So Green Bean comes in and says the Texans sneaking to beat the Finns. This could happen. By the way, it could happen. The Dolphins are anytime a team is rolling, there's trap games. It could definitely happen. You never know for sure. It would be amazing if it did happen. But imagine all three AFC East teams lose while we win. That would be amazing. How about let's just skip to the end and say, imagine we win the division. Holy shit. That would be absolutely fantastic. And we should say it out loud. Let's say it out loud. We can win the division.
We can win the
New York
division.
Jets can win the division. Let's put that out in the universe.
Our first home
It
playoff game at MetLife Stadium could actually happen.
All right, let's go. We got some super chats. So we
Awesome.
got Chris KV. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate that. What team would you guys say is the most similar to the Pats, and how we match up against them if there was a game between us and that team? I'm going to let you take that first as I think about it. I'm going to have to think about that. I have to think about that. And what
Okay.
I'm actually I don't have to think that long. You know what I'm going to say right now? And this people might totally think I'm off my rocker and not agree at all. I'm going to compare them to the New York Giants.
Really?
And here's why. I'm going to compare them to the New York Giants because I think that New England is only tough because they're very well coached and they have a system they've been using a long time. But I don't see crazy talent except in their running back, right? And then they just play solid defense. It's a system. They have one great player in Judon, but the other guys, it's a system, right? It's a system. And then I see the Giants, and I understand that this coach is new and everything, but I see a defense where that's not because it's loaded with superstars. I see a defense that's playing really well because they've adapted a strong system, and their big strength and their big dangerous weapon on offense, like New England, is a running back. So just like if you were playing the Giants, you'd have to get rid of the ball fast because you're worried about Thibodeau. You'd have to be smart, not make bonehead mistakes against their defense, take what they give you, and then you'd have to worry about stopping their running back and their running game. And I kind of feel I could be way off and no one might agree with me, but for some reason, that's what pops into my head. The Giants as compatible to New England, just then why and I only did that from the perspective of a team that's outplaying their talent based on coaching and knowing how to use their weapons.
Okay. Yeah, my first thought, if you leave out the quarterbacks, would have been Baltimore. I could see some comparisons there, except the quarterbacks are completely different styles. But see that running game, the impact players on the front seven. I mean, New England has some very good players on the defensive line in Wise Guy. They have some. Oh yeah, they have Wise Guy. I didn't even realize Dietrich Wise and Lawrence Guy. Wise Guy. So they literally have that. I just figured that one out. Oh my god.
Wise Guy.
That's what everybody tuned in for. All right, great. I could see that. Yeah, I'm actually looking at different teams right now. I mean, part of me thought San Francisco, but I think San Francisco has a little bit more. They have more talent with their playmakers, so I don't really feel like I can make that comparison validly. Maybe to an extent. No, I can't even. It's almost like the Rams without Cooper Kupp. It's almost like that. I mean, Aaron Donald, you have like one great player over there, a great player in the secondary. I mean, McCourty has been great for a long time, and he still seems to make impact plays with the 2 interceptions that he had against the Jets. And like you said, I definitely like the coaching. I do like Sean McVay as a head coach. But now that the Rams are now without Cooper Kupp, you take that dynamic playmaker off. What do they have? Allen Robinson, Tyler Higbee, Van Jefferson, some decent players, but nobody that really scares you. And I feel like that's not too different than the Patriots at this point. So I go a coupleless Rams.
All right. Well, that makes sense. Well, thank you for the super chat, Chris KV. I appreciate that. It's very nice of you.
Oh, really Chris, by the way, we would kick the Giants' ass. I hope.
Really helps the channel out, to the members, to the people who do the super chats. Again, it really helps it helps things out. I'm not kidding. So I appreciate it. And then here is AbLab Studios, my good friends. It's good to see you, brother. Again, with the generosity, just such an incredible dude. Over under, Zach, 50 yards rushing. Sorry if this was covered already. Long work day. No, it wasn't. I'm gonna say under. Because Zach's not running as much. He runs when he needs to. Clutch runs. Like, he had 3 clutch runs, but not so much for distance and not so much as a regular thing. It was the perfect balance last week. It's one of the reasons we beat Buffalo, is that Zach picked the perfect few times to run. And each time was very effective and got us very big first downs.
Yeah, I definitely am going to take the under. Now, if you had given me AbLab 25 yards, I might be thinking that one over. But this year, here's what Zach has had for rushing yards: 15, 2, 1, 24, 2, and 24. So unless he has like a Sam Darnold run in Denver, unless he has like one big dynamic play, but you know what? Even if he did, he'll just slide 10 yards too soon anyway. So no, I'm sorry, I can't. I'm definitely taking the under on that one. Yeah.
That was an easy one. Thank you, AbLab. I appreciate it again, man. Can't thank you enough. Let's see what we got else here. Anybody got any questions? I didn't see any reactions to my Giants. I'm waiting for people to blow me up for saying Giants. So, you know.
Twisted said, but Jerm, the Giants are a winning team. Well, so are the Patriots.
So are the Patriots, right. And by the end of the year, the Patriots might have a better record than the Giants.
Scott Wilson, I'm just here for the hot sauce. Very nice.
Buffalo Jeff, and we definitely have to give him the Myles Garrett treatment. I mean, this is one of the top, 5 defensive players in the league.
Yes.
Right? I mean, I think it's safe to say that. So, yeah, we have to give him the full treatment. The guy is a beast. He's a beast. And I'm nervous about it. I'm saying we have to design our team. We have to design our game plan to get rid of the ball fast. Otherwise, this guy will kill us. He's going to kill Zach. I don't want Zach hurt. We got to get rid of the ball. We got to give Zach plays to get rid of the ball, because this guy is going to crush him. And I don't want Zach getting hurt.
I mean, the amazing thing is, last game, Judon had 2 tackles, no sacks, no tackles for a loss, and no quarterback hits. We did stop him last time, seemingly. So Judon did not really make his presence felt, aside from just a couple of plays.
Now, I want to say, silly fun guy. People need to know something about him. He predicted in the beginning of the year, in the preseason, he predicted. I went on to Payo Times channel and did a show. He had a content provider for every team come on and predict team's record. And in the chat, silly fun guy predicted the Jets would go 10-7, or it may have been 11-6. He actually made that prediction. So I want to give him credit. He's a Rams fan who predicted that for the Jets. I mean, how many fans of other teams would have predicted that? I mean, it's kind of insane. Do you know who Ben Skowronek is?
Skowronek? You know, I swear I know the name. I think we had mentioned him. I want to say he's a receiver.
Okay, he's being sarcastic. I guess he's the guy that's going to replace.
Skowronek. Yeah,
the guy that's going to replace. So before I get to that super chat,
there's actually an article here from The Athletic, why you'll want Jacoby Myers and Ben Skowronek in your Week 11 lineups. Well, the fact that this article says that you want Jacoby Myers in your lineup and he's facing the Jets shows that just how non-credible that particular article from The Athletic is. So for me, I would actually think Van Jefferson. I could think Van Jefferson had a little bigger role in the offense now. You know what, Scott? It's so cool that you found community, Jets community. It's great. I went for a lot of years without having it, a lot of years, and having it now, it just makes it that much better. So, man, glad that you have that, and you know, that's freaking cool.
That's
and Orange County, awesome.
You wouldn't expect that. That's fantastic. Man, that's so cool. I mean, I wish I would have known about the one in San Francisco. There's this one in San Francisco because, I mean, I do the watch parties, so I really wouldn't. I mean, it's really hard for me. But, you know, if we ever stop doing watch parties, I like that there's definitely a fan club I can go to, because I can get to San Francisco on a Sunday morning in an hour and 10 minutes, and just hang out and watch the game with these guys. And now I'm waiting for Green Meat to say, just set up from the bar there, man. But that seems really hard. I think it's always been hard, right? For even Green Meat to set up at a bar. Like when he does it with you, Adam, isn't it difficult? It's not easy.
From what I heard, there was a little bit of background noise that I think bugged a few people. From what I could gather, I mean, we had no issues, but when we would make announcements and things like that, because where we are, there's only so much outlet. There's only like one outlet that we can use, so we would have to like the microphone, because we have actually a loudspeaker. So he's right there broadcasting, and I'm standing less than a foot away from him making announcements. So, yeah, there's a little bit of overrun in there, but you know what? It just adds to the atmosphere. I mean, you know what? For one game a year, just embrace it. just for one game a year, it's fun.
Sorry, but I smell food.
That's about the only thing that gets that look on your face, I know.
My wife is cooking something. Food? There's food? Like, I smell food.
Okay, we need more details. You can't tell us just food.
I don't know. It smells like it could be. I've had a guess.
Uh-huh.
Oh man, possibly pasta with. Maybe she made pasta.
Oh,
with meat, which would mean she made penne with meat sauce. She may have heated up the leftover Thai food though too.
Pasta with meat sauce, the leftover Thai food. Y'all having pad Thai? Is that what's going on?
Yeah, maybe it's. She did have pad Thai yesterday.
Oh, okay.
Ablab Studios comes in with another $10. He's the absolutely making sure that I do not go out of business. He is single-handedly financing this channel. No, he's not doing it single-handedly. Not to diminish anybody else.
Come on, guys, you can't let Ablab show you up like this.
He sure does his share of keeping this studio running. Given what Fields did to the Belichiks, don't you think it would benefit us if got to use Zach to use that 4.4 speed? Look, I absolutely love it when it's not because he can't find a receiver, but when Zach is in the pocket and he steps up right during a play and there's an opening and he juts into that opening and gets positive yardage. I love it because it's so frustrating when quarterbacks don't do it. When you see it on TV that there's 8 yards there and they don't take it. Now, I don't want him barreling in shoulder first. I honestly don't want to see that. But if there's an opening, if he's in that pocket and there's an opening, a valley that opens up, and it's 8 to 10 yards, like you could just even 5, anything over 5 yards, you get 5, 7 yards, you slide, you take that all day long. All day. He has the speed. He has the athletic ability. But I think he's so focused on trying to be a pocket passer, and that's okay because they're thinking it's a balance. Yes, they're trying to win. They're trying to do everything they can to win today. There's no question about that. And I think we're going to see more focus on winning and less on the future. But I think up until this point, there's been it's very evident, a strong focus of they're also developing Zach. They're trying to make him a pocket passing quarterback, and then they'll probably allow the other things to happen afterwards, but they want to establish that. They want to make sure that they have a pocket passing quarterback who can drop back, stay in the pocket, and make plays. Now, I think that they're going to start to set him loose because they're starting to say, like all of us, they're saying, holy shit, we can win now. But I think up until now it was a balance, right? They've been doing a lot of balancing of also developing for the future. And I think that's been part of what the Jets have been doing. And I think one of the things they did was they had him stop running as much. But now I think at this point, I think we saw what we saw in Buffalo. He's got the green light. If there's an opening, if there's a first down waiting to be had, or if it's first down, second down, and there's 7-8 yard chunks that you could take on the ground, I think we're going to see a lot more of it. I do. What about you, Watu?
Ablab, here's what I would say. Let's compare the Bears offense to the Jets offense. Who are the Bears' best weapons? They have what? David Montgomery, who do they have at receiver? Darnell Mooney, Cole Kmet, the other St. Brown, the one who's not in Detroit. I feel like the Bears have Fields run as much as he does because I don't think the Bears offense, the coaches would have Fields run as much if they didn't feel that that was the best way to move the football down the field. But I think that the best way to move the ball, if you're the Bears, is Montgomery running and Fields running because these wide receivers and whatnot, they're not that good. The Jets don't have that issue. The Jets have a lot of playmakers on this team. Now, if you had a situation where, let's say the Jets had Michael Vick, but nobody you've ever heard of at receiver, I would be like, okay, let's look at RPOs for Vick. Let's look to run and run and run. But you don't have to do that with Zach Wilson. Number one, he doesn't quite have that elite level speed or that body type to do it. He can do it in spots, but when you have Garrett Wilson, when you have potential, Corey Davis when healthy, we're seeing Denzel Mims start to emerge. We know what Elijah Moore's capable of. Ty Conklin's getting better. You have Michael Carter. You have James Robinson. You don't have to send Zach down the field, all that often. Now, the Patriots are vulnerable to speed. Okay, and you're exactly right. They're very vulnerable to speed, and that's why getting the ball in the hands of guys like Elijah Moore and Braxton Berrios intrigues me, especially for this game. But I don't want Matthew Judon or Dietrich Wise or any of these guys to have any free shots, on our quarterback. So I think you really got to limit it. I don't know if I would be big on having RPOs in this particular game for Zach, because I don't feel the Jets need to do that in order to move the ball down the field and score touchdowns.
I just saw a text that it popped up on my phone, and I think this guy is.
Oh, is that where you get your text from, on your phone? Oh,
no, I got this Twitter thing that popped up from.
Okay.
I think he's been on Green Bean Channel, MJ guy.
Okay.
He says, my girlfriend just told me if I don't go to her sister's wedding with her Sunday, that she'll never talk to me again. I said goodbye. Not missing this game for anybody. And I think it's serious because it's all caps.
And
I just thought that's interesting. I was just trying to point out that this is a very big game.
I have a number of questions here. Number one, how long had the relationship been going on? That's the first thing I wanted to know. I mean, I once left a girl at her best friend's wedding to go to a Ring of Honor wrestling pay-per-view. That didn't last much longer, but honestly, I would do it again. Knobcraft, I will say this. I am in Raleigh several times a year. My mom lives down there. I don't know of a Jets fan club down there as of now, but I can look into it a little bit for you. But I can tell you, there's a lot of New Yorkers that head down to the Raleigh area, particularly Cary, just west, and that's where Jeremy and I hung out, and that's where Jeremy's parents live. But yeah, you'll definitely find a good host of New Yorkers in the Raleigh-Durham area for sure.
Yeah, I didn't have to look because I was there with my brother. Everybody knows Lee. I was there with Lee, and we watched the game together from last year, the Tennessee game. We watched it, from my parents' house. And I didn't even think of looking, but it would be shocking to me, absolutely shocking, if there wasn't a Jets fan club in the Raleigh-Durham, like Cary area, because there's so many New Yorkers that replant, and so many came, originally from IBM, Long Island, the Long Island IBM. And when IBM came to Durham and the Triangle area, I just can't imagine that there aren't lots of Jet fans there. And
yeah, I don't know how organized it is. That's the one thing, and you know what, Knobcraft, if there isn't one down there, you could start it yourself.
Because I'm sure if you put it out there hard enough, you'd find them.
You would. You just have to do a little bit of recruiting, maybe whether it's putting like some flyers up at sports bars, different stuff like that, creating a Facebook group, different places where sports fans hang out and spread the word, just one at a time. It may not happen overnight, but little by little, I've seen it. Just 2 becomes 4, 4 becomes 8. You get your steady group, your core group, and then you have the people who attend now and then. I mean, sometimes this is something that you actually can create. And I'm telling you, you're going to have people down there because now I can tell you, Jets fans, they're not ashamed to wear their colors anymore. The Jets fans are there. They've just been in hiding.
And I'll tell you what else, Knob. Every time I visit my parents, if it's during football season, if you're in Raleigh, we'll hang out. So, like, if there's a Jet game and I'm there, we'll definitely watch it together. We'll find a place to go and we'll figure it out. So, and then you'll get to stick your head on the computer screen and be part of the watch party. So,
and then I get to try to explain to Mom the difference between encroachment and a neutral zone infraction, which doesn't go back. Trying to explain football to Mom is rather challenging. Bless her.
I don't think we're going to be wearing white on Sunday. I think that the New England didn't New England purposely wear their dark, wear their whites, so we have to wear dark.
You know what? I saw that Nania had a tweet about this. Now I think he may have been. I think it was a little bit tongue in cheek from him, but I'm going to pull this up. Let's see here. It was something, because it was something about what they were wearing in practice, and that's what was so strange. Okay, so Woody put up his tweet about 6 hours ago. Patriots prep. So here's what Michael said: offense in white jerseys means we're officially good to go. Belichick did not pull a stunt by wearing white at home to force the Jets out of their white jerseys. So he's saying because the offense is wearing white jerseys in practice means they're wearing white on black this Sunday. I don't know if that's true. I've never heard of anything like that, but that's what he's saying. As your camera just went down a little bit.
Sorry, I was adjusting something.
That's okay.
I was checking something. Grandizer made a really good point. I'm like a couple shy of 50 likes. So those of you, if you haven't yet, can you please hit the like button? But hey, man, Knob, I'm assuming, are you really making this move? Because if you move to North Carolina and you're working in a restaurant, then we'll come. We'll eat there. We'll ask for you. We'll say, we'll let you know we're there.
I'm going to be there for Thanksgiving. Yeah, I'll be there for like 4 days for Thanksgiving. So
also, we'll bring my brother. You'll meet Matthew, and he'll, if it's a good restaurant, you could. My brother's very loyal. He'll come all the time and hang out and say hello to you. So
we did find an Italian restaurant down there called Bellini, and the owners are from Brooklyn. And from what I've been told, it is very, very legit, and the menu looks absolutely fantastic. So I think that's where we might go. Probably Friday. I think Friday we're planning to get some good Italian.
Yeah. So anyway, what do you if we have to wear dark colors? What do you want them to do? Like, what would you prefer? Green on green,
green on white.
I don't.
Green on white. I don't like green on green in this color scheme. It doesn't work for me. That much of it doesn't work. I like the white pants. I like the black pants. Here's the funny thing. With the old uniforms, I liked the white on green more than I liked white on white. And now I've reversed it. So now I prefer white on white over white on green. To me, if they got rid of the green pants and just had white pants or black pants, I would be completely fine with it.
Twisted that you're funny. My wife knows football season's off limits on Sundays. She just knows.
Priorities. Sully has a question for me. How does it feel to be president of a fan club? I'll tell you what, it's fun, but it's quite a bit of responsibility. Organizing the schedule, figuring out raffle prizes, doing trivia. Also, I handle the money. I handle our bank account. We now actually have a legit bank account. So managing that, we have a debit card, all that kind of stuff. And of course, I have a couple of officers, as we call them, who help me with different things. Like we have one guy who's organizing the Toys for Tot in December. Another guy is usually our MC. And if he's not there to MC the games, then I do that in his place. Another guy takes care of the 50-50 raffles and the door prizes. And you know what? We have a lot of stuff that we have to haul back and forth. I mean, we have a huge speaker that I bring back and forth. And if we have the regular raffle or the premium raffle, we've got a huge tub for each one of those. Another guy brings in the door prizes, which we have every week. It's fun, but organization skills are very important. And of course, having people skills, which the last one, obviously, I'm very short on. But having a good group of people around you for sure. You want to develop that core more than anything. It's a lot of fun, but you have to realize it is work as well. But you know what? I love doing it. I got a good group of folks, and I actually found out they hesitated to make me present because I'm too emotional during the games. I'm like, I'm a freaking Jets fan. I'm supposed to not be emotional. How is that even possible?
Hey,
but it's all right.
My biggest fan in the world is here, Italy Jet. Let me tell you what's great about Italy Jet. Italy Jet is the most like Italian guy, right? I mean, you want that guy who's Italian, that's eating the Italian food. That's Italy Jet. He's the young Italian guy with the gold chains. He's Italian. Hey, forget about it. He changes shirts all the time. He has t-shirt time. He changes this shirt. If he was on the show, he'd probably change outfits 3 times. Now, but let me tell you something about Italy Jet also that I want to say. He wears the Nike slippers, like with the the patch on it thing with the white socks on. That's how Italian he is. He does that. That's like a Brooklyn thing. He's probably the only guy in St. Louis doing that. Like he figures out the styles of what's going on in Brooklyn, and he takes it to St. Louis.
He's in St. Louis. I didn't even know that.
St. Louis wearing like the Nike slippers with the socks on.
Italy, your opinion on Provel cheese, please.
Oh no, he got pizza places that are good though. He told me. He said,
I hope so.
He said when I go there, he's going to take me to real pizza places.
Dude, I'm telling you, I went to St. Louis a week before I moved to Virginia. I went there for the first time, and I'm expecting pretty much the last time. The Hill was that's where Yogi Berra grew up. Joe Garagiola grew up. I went to an Italian restaurant. I waited an hour and a half and had one of the most disappointing meals I've ever had in my life. I was so disappointed in the whole region. And there's no easy way to get there. You pretty much have to drive or Uber it. I mean, or take a bus. It was not easy. Yeah, was not a big fan of St. Louis. They had some great barbecue at Pappy's Smokehouse. That's the place to go, is Pappy's. But the Italian section of St. Louis, disappointing.
me and Italy Jet have this thing now, back and forth. Who's
all right?
He's my biggest fan. I'm his biggest fan. It goes something like that. I converted my wife into a baseball fan, and she became a Yankee fan. I got her into football, and she becomes a Giants fan. But she likes the Jets. She roots for the Jets to win hard. Like, she wants them to win for my sake. She gets happy if they win. She's not a big enough fan, but she does constantly make me check the Giants game too, and like the score, and tell her what's going on with the Giants. I have to kind of follow them just so I can help her keep up with them and know what's going on. So I have to know what's going on with the Giants so I can explain things to her, like who they draft and all that stuff. But man, it's going to be a great game on Sunday. Phenom is here. What's going on, buddy? Haven't seen him in a while. I see him, Phenom, sometimes on Twitter. I see him around. But so what's up, Phenom? I hope everything's good. I hope you're enjoying our New York Jets and what they've been doing.
John Nolte, don't worry. I don't have any involvement in cryptocurrency whatsoever. But I appreciate you looking out for me. I do.
Yeah, it was so nice to get a guy like Italy Jet fan, like a young guy, really cool, shows that we have the young audience, loves us, offers like food to people. Like, we needed a guy like that. We needed a young Italian fan of the channel. You know what I mean? Young Italian fan of the channel, passionate about the Jets, likes to talk about food too, enjoys food. We didn't have that. And now we do in Italy Jet fan. It's so cool that we have that. You know what I'm talking about, Adam?
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, we didn't have that.
Does he have a Monday?
A young Italian kid, very young, that liked to talk about food and love the Jets and everything. We just never had that before.
I don't know of any people like that whatsoever.
So I'm so glad that we have him.
Does he have a Monday white beater, a Tuesday white beater that he takes out of the closet, he puts it on?
Stephanie, are you saying that I'm the greatest of all time? Thank you. I do my best. I try to run a good channel. I try to be entertaining. I appreciate the compliments. Great. Stephanie says that I'm the greatest YouTube content provider of all time.
How do you know she means that for you?
I don't know. I'm just. She just said. I just see it says GOAT. So Oh. Now it says go Yankees. So she's probably
exactly. I saw that.
Probably not talking about me.
This is not working.
She's not talking about me. I take it back.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Somebody's got to stop. So one of the moderators check out what's going on down. Okay, oh, you already did. Okay, thank you. Yeah, we need to settle down, everybody.
Yes, we
Settle
do.
down.
Well,
Settle down. Everybody settle down in there. We haven't had fighting in my chat in a long time, and I'd like to keep it that way.
yeah, we're not going to be insult. Yeah, we're not going to insult people. We're not going to do that here.
Yeah.
Okay.
I might be. I might go. I'm going to drive out from Birmingham to go with my brother this week. Are you talking about North Carolina? You'll love it there, man. Raleigh, Durham, like the Triangle, is a great place to live, man.
It really is
great. It really is. It's a fantastic place. I love visiting my parents. I never want to leave. When I'm there, I'm always sad when the trip is over.
Yeah, it's fun. It takes from where I am about 3 hours, 15 minutes or 3 hours, 30 minutes to get down there. Unfortunately, the drive from Virginia to North Carolina is completely desolate. There is absolutely nothing to stop for. Probably the most notable thing is Emporia, Virginia, which is one of the most notorious police towns in the country. If you're going 5 miles over the speed limit, they will pull you over. They are rough. Not good. But yeah, when you get to the beginning of that area, when you start to go west of Rocky Mount, yeah, it's a cool area. And it feels like there's a lot to do, but it feels very approachable, with a lot of colleges. It's very you could indulge or you could go very budget friendly. It's a cool area.
And here's a guy from the North Carolina area.
Okay.
My girl's he went to NC State, AC. My
Go
girl's
Pat, go.
We're the most depressed.
Awesome.
We are the most depressed fans. Good food though.
You're up there, but at least you score some points. That's rough being a Lions fan, no doubt.
Green Bean comes in and says, I just got very strong information that we are wearing our all-white unis this week, white jerseys and white pants. This is 94% accurate info. I thought that we didn't have the choice, though. I thought that well, I got it reversed. New England said that they're going to wear the colors, and we have to wear white.
Well, here's the thing: if they're choosing to wear blue, I can see why we have to wear white. But then, isn't it our choice what pants we wear?
But I thought that they were trying to screw us. I thought that they said no, we're going to wear white.
I don't think so.
Of course, okay. So if we're wearing all white, I'm cool with that, right? That's fine.
But if we have the option to wear white, why would we go white pants and not black pants?
I don't know.
These are the things that matter, guys. I'm telling you, it's important.
I think it's all about money. They want to create all the different scenarios. So when kids buy uniforms and supplies and stuff, they have to buy all the combinations so they can be. Oh my God. Okay. Let's see. Different generation. J. Cole, it doesn't count. It doesn't count if it comes from John Nolte. Different generation. That was the word that was used in his generation when he was young. So he gets a pass. Who wears the pants in this family? That's funny. Oh, you originally heard that New England was wearing whites too. Supposedly that was wrong.
That's what it sounds like.
Frankie got it wrong, man. It was Frankie's fault.
Uh-oh.
I'm just messing around. Frankie didn't. It's not Frankie's fault. But you got to blame somebody. I got to protect Green Bean. I can't have Green Bean like out there that he's giving wrong information. So you got to blame it on somebody else. I'm not going to blame me. Who am I going to blame?
Yeah, Frankie sounds good to me. Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to blame Frankie. Good night, fellas. I wish you good health. Grazie.
Grazie.
Grazie. Grazie.
Grazie. I can't wait. I will say this. I am very excited to see, Frankie's doing like these cinematic movie trailer sort of things when he narrates it. In a world where the Jets have risen to the top of the AFC East standings. I know. I can just imagine him in his basement right now in the lab, writing up a whole script right now for the game against New England on Sunday. I bet he's going to have a doozy coming out in the next day or two.
I don't know if you had this when you were young, but in Brooklyn, it must have been in New Jersey too. I hope it was, because I can always imagine Green Bean. I don't know why. It's fun to imagine Green Bean experiencing some of the things I experienced, that because he's a comedian. So I want
Right.
to imagine in my head what his reaction was to things, because only now in this life, later in life, am I being observant of the silliness of these things, and I'm wondering what his reaction to this was when they had the you'd call a number to find out what movies were playing in the theaters near you.
Yep.
And it would be like, if you know the name of the movie you'd like to see, press 3 now. If you want to know the theater, Bay Ridge Parkway, press 1 now. They would do that whole menu thing, and I'm just imagining
Right. And there was
staring
there
at
was
his phone, going beep, like and making his selections.
I remember you had sports phone also. When that was how you had to call to get sports scores and the latest updates and all that kind of stuff. The hotlines. 900 numbers, kids. Those of you under like 25 years old have
And they
no
would do
idea
like
what we're talking about.
They would do a small promo of the movie, like, you saw him beat Clubber Lang, but can he beat this guy at 350 pounds of pure muscle from the Soviet Union? Rocky Balboa will have to take on Drago in Rocky 4. Like, they would give you like the small little promo of it.
Drago, he's the most perfectly trained athlete ever. He cannot be defeated.
I will cross you. Okay.
Apparently, the Russian guy was from the Brighton Beach section of Brooklyn because he had some. I must break you.
Talking Jets with Tigo.
If they
If they use blue pants, we probably can't use the black and have to go white. Probably because the navy is real close to the black. So we're really analyzing this now.
We really are. I think we need to factor in helmets and gloves and socks as well while we're at it.
Yeah.
I think this is vital. No, I actually think Tigo is correct. I could see the Patriots going all blue to make us go all white, but I think I'd rather see us go all white than all green.
Yeah, and that was considered high tech at the time. And that's funny because, like when I was 15, I remember I got a pager. I was so cool with my pager, right? And then, of course, we were outsmarting the company because we'd figure out the numbers, how to put codes in. We'd have, like me and my friend, the whole code system. Like, 222 meant I'm calling car service and I'm on my way because that was the number of the car service, Remsen car service in my neighborhood, 642-2222. So that was the code. If he gave me the twos, I knew, he's on his way, right? I knew if it was 911, that meant an emergency, like something's happening, and I better call him at home because he's not going to show up. Like we had all these different codes with my pager that made me so cool. But like that's what we had to resort to. Because when you made plans, like you couldn't make plans with your friends until you got home from school and got to your phone. And you had to sit there and wait for them to get home or you to get home and so you can connect on the phone to make your plans. And if you went outside, and I'm going to now go and meet my buddy at Burger King, both of us have to rely on the fact that nothing happens after we hung up the phone. Because now that's it. We're going. And if one of us can't go because my mother catches me and says, you can't go, that's it. He's stuck alone at Burger King.
And that's your thing. You got your phone. Your phone's in the kitchen. You got the dial-up phone, so it's all public business. Yeah. It's not like you can retreat to your bedroom or anything. Like if you got your own phone, you like graduated. That was like the first. If you didn't get a car, at least you had a phone. That was like the first step of independence, right there. And then the other rule. You know when you had to be home? As soon as the street light came on, you better be on the porch. And there was nothing to talk about. Ain't no negotiation. Outside shooting hoops, street light. I'd start taking off. And, and of course the neighbors would be watching. You need to get home right now. You get whipped by the whole neighborhood before you get home.
Yeah.
Just like we're going to whip the Patriots before they get home. I don't know.
Yeah. Hey, I mean, but it is interesting when you think about like some of the, like we are the last generation. We're the last people that are going to be able to tell these kids these stories of what it was like right before the emergence of cell phones and text messages. And like, even that was different, right? I mean, we had cell phones, but we didn't really have text message. And if you did, you had to type it in by typing the letter, the amount of time, like you'd have to type the number to get to the letter. and then hit the number the right amount of times for the letter. Like it took
Yes,
forever
the
to type
small
a
letter,
word.
capital letter, the number, the letter with the
Yeah.
accent over it. You're right.
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 It took like forever to do. And then like I remember the first thing was the blue what was it called? That company that was it
BlackBerry.
special a BlackBerry.
Yeah.
That was the first
There were the
kind of
Palm
phone.
Pilots also. We also have
Right.
Palm Pilots.
Well, the BlackBerry was the first phone I ever had that you could get your email from.
Me too.
And that was like the craziest thing in the world, that you can get to your email from your phone, and only BlackBerry could do it. Would you have guessed at that time? I thought that they took over the world. Like would you have ever guessed that BlackBerry would go away?
Same thing with like Motorola, Nokia, all these different companies that just, I mean, I remember, oh my
Apple,
God,
Google.
I remember calling collect when I was like in summer camp calling home when you had like the big phone, and I type in the quarter and I would hear James Earl Jones' voice come on the phone. Welcome to Bell Atlantic. And it was like, I think, seriously, I think I was calling home a couple times just because I wanted to hear James Earl Jones speak to me. I just wanted to hear his voice. It was like a reassuring voice hearing James Earl Jones on the phone. But yeah, then all these mergers, all these things change, and yeah, things keep changing for sure.
Yeah, and I just want to let J. Cole know, you're not going to go over and smack Salty Nolte, because just John Nolte would basically swap your hand away, take your head, and rip it off your head and throw it. Okay.
Hopefully he'd have video. Hopefully
you don't
he'd
know
have.
who John Nolte is.
Hopefully there would be video of the going on. Just
Yeah, you don't know who John Nolte is, buddy. I've seen pictures. You don't know. You're not gonna mess with this man. Even if he's a little bit older now, he's not that old. He'll still take your head off.
Jeremy, Dark Soldier is asking, what about that phone that flipped the screen so you could type on it? I know what you're talking about.
Oh,
but
yeah,
there's a certain name of
There
it.
was because there was a little short time there where there was a whole bunch of things. There was a whole bunch of technologies trying to be the thing. You know, like the Palm Pilot with the pen. There were like
Yep.
so many things that were all hitting at the same time. And then, of course, only a few of them were going to make it. Like all those things died out. And what came out came, what made it. But yeah, there was like a circus of technologies that people were creating and pushing out to the world. And then it was interesting to see what won the battle. And just when like those little keychain drives, those little drive keychains, where you could have like an 8 meg drive on your keychain, just when that started to get big, now we have the cloud. So you don't even need that. If I want to share something with you, I put it in the cloud. I got Dropbox, or I could use Google.
Hey, Rocky,
you know what I mean?
What cloud?
Yeah.
Hey, Clutch is here. Say, your favorite Kansas City Chiefs fan. Hey, Clutch,
Yeah,
good
what's
to
going
see you.
on, Clutch? Whose channel's doing very well. I think he's over 500 subs.
Wow, not
The
bad.
kid is smart. He does a thing where he'll put together like videos of like Kansas City Chief highlights and things, and really smart kid, man. Really smart kid. When I was his age, I wasn't doing anything like that. This kid is on top of it, man.
And welcome to Rotisserie Chicken 45. I can't imagine who that is.
Right. While Clutch is successfully doing this channel,
Yeah, the opposite.
Some people his age are just kind of going around onto YouTube channels into the chat and asking people if they like fried ravioli, right?
If you're in St. Louis, you pretty much have to.
I'm not talking about the guy in St. Louis. He has his own channel too that's doing very well. I'm on a roll tonight. My God, this guy is just out of control. This kid, it's like crazy. Yeah, it's like a train wreck. You just have to look. Like when there's a car crash, you don't want to look, but you just have to look. This week's game meal, stromboli. Oh, that sounds nice. I like that. That's something you and J. Cole can agree with. You could talk about the food that you're going to eat and enjoy.
This is true. Now, if he's in Utah, I wonder if there's a place that makes good stromboli, or if he's actually going to make some himself.
I'm not rooting for the Chargers this week. What is he say? Who are the Chargers playing?
The Chargers? Why would we root for the Chargers? I'm nervous about the Chargers, dude.
Yeah, but who are they playing?
Oh man, it's slipping my mind right now. I'm sorry. I got to pull.
Because if the Chargers are playing Kansas City, because that's what I thought.
Yes, the Chiefs. Yes, I'm
no way am I rooting for
Chiefs.
I'm rooting for the Chiefs. The Chiefs are winning their division. They're not a threat to us.
Thank you.
They're not a threat to us. The Chiefs are safe. They're winning their division. They're safe. The Chargers are the team we're fighting with. If we don't win our division, we're fighting with the Chargers for a wild card spot. I'm so happy San Francisco beat the Chargers because that's huge for us. The Chargers are the team, one of the scariest and biggest threats to us if we're fighting for a playoff spot.
The Chargers have the easiest strength of schedule of any team left that's contending for the playoffs, realistically among wildcard teams for one thing. They've got a pretty good conference record. They're 4-2 in the conference. And you know what? They've had a lot of injuries. The only thing that is really holding them back right now is the injuries. And to be honest, the fact that they are the Chargers and they do have a way of being a bit of a paper team. But they do have a lot of talent. I got to tell you, the Chargers do concern me quite a bit. Here's who the Chargers have left on their schedule. Okay. Home against the Chiefs, at Arizona, at the Raiders, home against Miami, home against the Titans. Here are their last 3 games. At Indy, home against the Rams, at the Broncos. There's only 3 teams above 500, and all of them are going to be playing at SoFi Stadium. Okay, so yeah, you can't overlook the Chargers right now. I'm rooting for the Chargers to lose every game, except probably when they play the Dolphins. That's about it.
So here's my thing. I know a lot of people want the Jets to be number 1 in the AFC East, and if Kansas City loses, then that's the case. I understand that. And this might be a very unpopular take, except with Adam, apparently. This might be a very unpopular take. But I am not thinking about being the number 1 seed in the AFC. I'm not there yet. Maybe there's a slight chance.
Yeah.
There's a slight chance if Breece Hall and AVT never got hurt. Maybe I'm thinking, screw it. Let's go for it. Why not us? I'm sorry, guys. I'm just not there. I'm still at the point where I'm thrilled if we make the playoffs. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm going to root every week for the best possible scenario. I want to win the division. I want to beat New England and have that little piece of first place by the tiebreaker, whatever it is, or to be in first place. And I will hope and root like hell, like the rest of us, every week to win and for the best to happen. But if I'm being honest about how I feel, like even though I'm rooting for us to win and I want the best, I'm not giving up on anything. Like I want us to win every game and run to the table. But the conservative part of me that wants to assure that we have a playoff spot is hoping the Chargers lose. Because that's our backup. And I think that it's much more likely and realistic that we are going to be fighting and get a wild card spot than fighting for the best number 1 seed in the NFL, in the AFC. I just don't believe it. Like, I just think that while there's a chance of it, I just think there's a better chance that what's going to help us in the long run when we get to the end of the year is to have an advantage over the Chargers. And that's just how I feel about it. And I don't blame anybody for disagreeing. It's a different perspective, but I'm taking a more conservative approach. I really want to make the playoffs. And I think that when you balance it both, I think that the best chance of us making the playoffs are the Chargers losing.
There's really 3 levels of playoffs. You got the bye, you got the next 3 division winners, you got the 3 wild cards. It doesn't make that much of a difference to me if the Jets finish 5, 6, or 7, or if they finish 2, 3, or 4. You win a division, you win a wild card. I don't care that much about the number. What I do care about is who they're matched up against in the first round of the playoffs if they make it. Like, I would much rather see Tennessee than I would rather see Baltimore, as a for instance. Now, maybe after as much defeat and as much sorrow and as much crappy football as we have watched, maybe there's a part of us that doesn't want to get our expectations all that high. Oh, yeah, Jacob, I'll tell you about that one in a little bit. But I just want to finish my thought here. To me, it's all about the matchups, because we've seen in football, it doesn't really matter what seed you are. You just got to get the right matchup at the right time. And to me right now, I'm not ready to say that the Jets are a team that is good enough. They have a lot more to prove to where we say they're a legitimate contender for the 1 seed. I mean, right now they're still the 5. And if we're being fair right now, there are 9 teams that are really contending for the AFC playoffs. Indy is 4-5-1. I'm not including them. I'm sorry, I'm not. But you have 3 teams at 5-4. You have 4 teams at 6-3, and you have 2 teams with 7 wins: Kansas City and Miami. So there's going to be 2 good teams that are going to miss the playoffs. I mean, Cincy, whose offense is amazing. The Chargers are very good all around. Every team in this division. So you know what? If they find a way to get in, I'm good. And then we'll see what happens after that. But I don't want to make too big of a deal of, they were the 5 or they were the 6 or they were the 7 seed. Let's just see what matchups that they get and go from there. But at the beginning of the season, who amongst us would not have been satisfied with a playoff appearance? I don't think there's one Jets fan who feels that way. Let's continue to enjoy the ride. And I know we want to get greedy, but continue to enjoy the ride and take it 1 week at a time, to use a cliche. Because at the beginning of the season, we were praying we would be in a spot like this. Now we are, and let's see how high it can go. Oh, and to ask about the sweatshirt, I've actually had the Play Like a Jet. I have had this thing since the Rex days. I don't know if they're even still available anymore, but it was one of those old designs that the Jets were selling, but now it's pretty much a vintage item at this point. So I'm sorry, but you might have to go on eBay for that one.
Yeah. So I knew people weren't going to love the take, and that's fine and that's okay.
It's cool.
I'm just keeping it real. I just think when it comes down to week 16 and 17, I think that's the bigger fear. The biggest thing that's going to hurt us is the Chargers. Now I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah.
I hope we win every game, and I hope we say.
Yeah, I hope the Ravens or Bengals struggle. Yeah.
What? Yeah, no, I'm saying I hope I wrong.
No, I was just saying we know
we're off timing. Go ahead.
I'm not sure what happened there. Okay. Yeah, either the Ravens and the Bengals have both beaten the Jets. One of them is going to win the division, seemingly. Whichever team doesn't is going to have the head-to-head over the Jets. So you hope it doesn't end in a 2-team tie with the Jets and the second-place team in the AFC North. And right now with Chase still out for a little bit, I'm thinking it could be the Bengals. If I had to bet on a team winning the division, I've got to go Baltimore right now. But if we get a chance to play Cincinnati, I'd feel better about playing Cincinnati than I would Baltimore. I'd be happy to take another shot at them, to be honest with you, because we're nowhere near the same team now that we were in week 3. I would definitely take my shot against them again.
Yeah, hey, just in case, just as insurance, you know what I mean? I just as an insurance, I want the Bengals and I want the Chargers to lose a lot of games. Just as an insurance, I root for the AFC to lose whenever possible, except when the division guys, when the teams I think are going to win the division are playing the teams that I think are going to compete for a wild card. I want the teams that I already am kind of giving the division to beat those teams. Now, do I want Kansas City to lose to NFC teams? Yes. Nothing against Clutch, but for what's best for the Jets, yes, that's what I want. But when Kansas City and Baltimore and those kind of teams play teams like Cincinnati and teams like San Diego, I want them to win because they're going to win the division anyway, and that's less of a threat to us. I'd rather have them be the better seed over us than have to the opposite. It comes back in our face and gets pie in our face, and we lose out on a playoff spot because Cincinnati and the Chargers won those games and take it from us. And we were sitting there rooting for them. I just think that the better thing in the long run is the safer thing is, and it's not even negative. It's just, if I was a gambling person, if you had a gun to my head, I think that's the more likely scenario. The more likely scenario is the teams we're going to be more worried about week 16 and 17 are the Cincinnati Bengals and the San Diego Chargers. Those are going to be the teams, aside from the teams, obviously, that are in our division, Miami and New England and whatever. But that's just, to me, let's take care of business. Let's win every game we could win. But on the side, as insurance, I want those teams to lose a lot of games. So if it doesn't work out great for us and we only go 4-4, right? And we go 10-7, that we're going to be assured a playoff spot.
Agreed. And keep in
Yeah.
mind, we have those 8 games left. 4 of them are conference games. That's it. We have 4 more games against the NFC. So that's another reason why this game is so important. This week we have 3 road games in our division and home against Jacksonville. I really think we need to win at least 2 of those. Absolutely need to win at least 2. Okay. And I got to tell you, I feel a lot better about our chances of winning in New England than I do against Buffalo. And who knows what Miami's going to be the last week of the season? Who knows what these teams are going to have to play for? So I hate using must win because to me, it's one of the most overused phrases in sports that fans use. But you can make the argument that the home game against Jacksonville is a must win. I could deal with losing a game in Minnesota. I can accept that. But winning these conference games are going to be so big for tiebreakers, especially if you have 3 teams tied, because then you're looking at conference games. Okay, it's going to be so big. Mock draft number 5. Yeah, this is when every draft had Tyler Linderbaum and Trey McBride.
No, he's talking about me, but I do want to say it's an embellishment. It's an embellishment because my first show, when I switched the channel over, because I think this channel had a different name. I mean, it's not. I had the YouTube channel, but it was some like goofy videos of me cooking in a kitchen. The first time I switched it over to NFL Chaos with Jeremy, the anniversary of this channel is November 25th. So I was not doing mock drafts yet, but it didn't take long. I would say, I don't think it took very long. I think I did a couple of videos, a couple of live shows, and then the mock videos began. So I would probably say realistically, December 3rd, somewhere in between December 3rd and December 10th was probably my first mock draft. But once I did one, as we all know, within 2 weeks, I was up to mock draft 12. I just went nuts and started doing them every couple of days. And it drove all the other content providers crazy. It's like, this guy just keeps doing mock drafts.
Mock draft chaos. That was it. It's like you need a separate channel just for the mock drafts or something.
Yeah, I mean, it was crazy. It was off the chart.
Or at least a playlist. And now I got to tell you guys this to look down the road. I don't know how exciting these mock drafts are going to be because we might be picking in the 20s.
Yeah.
It's a nice problem to have, isn't it?
It's a nice problem to have. So here's what we're going to do. I want to talk about tomorrow. Tomorrow is the Thursday night thick of it. It's an incredible show. They have a great producer, sexy guy.
A great trivia guy. Very nice guy.
Yeah, very good trivia guy. Yeah, he's a very quirky, kind of nice guy. Very likable. Very likable, very quirky. And we... They also have 2 other guys. There's a guy with a beard. He's pretty good, a white beard. There's this other guy who's kind of clever and comes up with some funny things and sayings and expressions. I think his name is Frankie. Oh, yeah. Frank's and Beans.
He hates,
so anyway,
he hates the uniforms, too. You may have heard.
Yeah, it's the Thursday night thick of it, and it's going to be on tomorrow night. It starts at 8 p.m. It's usually about, we say 2, but it ends up being at least 3 hours of pure joy and fun. Make sure you're there. You might see us. You might not see us. You'll definitely see Adam. You might not see me, and that's okay. I enjoy my role. I have an important role. More than seeing me, the more important thing is that I'm in back in there, and I feel proud that I'm able to help Green Bean out and make sure that your super chats get read. And if I see anybody in the chat or anybody says something particularly funny or interesting, both me and Adam will, whoever picks it up will let Green Bean know. So we are part of a team that we're really proud of because we think it's the best Jets show on YouTube, and it's absolutely an honor to be part of it. So make sure you're there tomorrow at 8 o'clock Eastern for that. And then on Sunday, this is the most excited I've ever been for a watch party. I cannot wait. We'll be on, the Green Bean Jets fan. They usually go on 15 minutes before the game. So that would be 12:45 Eastern time. And we will, it's also on Jet Nation. I always say, is it Jets Nation or Jet Nation?
I think it's Jet Nation.
I think it's Jet Nation. So it's also on Jet Nation. So there's 2. Green Bean puts it out on 2 different channels. Whatever rocks your boat. And I'm really looking forward to it. This is going to be tremendous. Every play is going to be intense. It's going to be an absolute, just such a big game, biggest regular season game in a really, really long time. So we got two very big things to look forward to. We got the Thursday night thick of it. Friday night will probably be the Jets Hangout. Proud New York Jets fan will be hosting that. That's Nick Shine. You might see us there. You might see us drop in. You might see me pop in around Saturday just because I can't stay away because it'll, me. But the reality is, the tomorrow is a big night for the Jets world. Make sure you're there. And Sunday, make sure you watch the game with us, hang out with us. And then Y2K99, why don't you tell them what you got going on at New York Sports Wikimedia?
I've been doing quite a bit of content the last week. I just have a tendency. It's like, I feel like if I go like 2 days without a video, I feel like it's like I'm not. It's like I got to put 2 or 3 more out just to make up for it. So today I did a Jets video. I also did a Mets video. So if there's any Mets fans out there, baseball fans, check those videos out as well. I did a video on the case for and against the Mets signing Carlos Rodon and talked a little bit about the free agent starting pitching market. And as far as the Jets, I actually did a video on the team's defense, on how I would, if I was the Jets, I would try to defend the Patriots. And I actually used a little bit of inspiration from the movie Miracle. That's right. I tied the 1980 U.S. Olympic hockey team into the current New York Jets team. So somehow we managed to pull that one off. But coming up, I'll be doing my usual weekend run. So I'll be making my confidence picks. That video will be up tomorrow, where we attempt to pick the winners of every game. I'll be doing my game preview for the Virginia Jets fans group. We put that up on YouTube. Yep, Vervain, I sure do. NY Sports Wikimedia. Yep, and we'll be doing that. And also, after the game, we do our recap, which includes the 3 plays from the game you may not remember that affected the outcome of the game. So there's always new content coming out. And if something, just moves me a little bit, maybe I'll do a short on it and yell for like 45 seconds.
And for those of you who, Jim Dandy just became your 300th subscriber. Congratulations.
Thanks, Jim. We're about 350, about 320 right now. So we're definitely moving. We're moving up. Absolutely.
So Green Bean's coming close to 10,000 subscribers. So if anybody hears this or watches this, go to Green Bean Jets fan and make sure you subscribe to his channel. He's the absolute best. He's the guy that got me started. I don't think Adam would be here either if it wasn't for Green Bean, right? Because you then came.
Absolutely.
We all got pulled up by Green Bean. So,
he was looking for a stats guy. He was looking for a stats guy, and I, told him that I was a sports writer and all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, yeah, absolutely, I'll do it. Yeah. And then he found out that I said, wow, I thought it'd be somebody around like 15, 20 years old who would want to do it. I'm like, dude, of course I want to do that.
Yeah. So make sure, like, if you're watching this and you're not, subscribe to his channel. But also, I am 19 subs away from 2,000. So that's a big, it's big for me because it's so close. Like, I originally would have been happy if you would have told me when I started this channel last year that I would have 1,000 subs, but within a year, I would have been very, very happy. I would have been very satisfied, got to 1,000, made it. Woo. Yeah. Great news. But here I am on the cusp. I have about 9 days left to do it, to get to 2,000 in my first year. So I'm trying to get to 2,000. Green Bean's trying to get to 10,000. Y2K just passed 300. We got to get him to 500 so he can do community posting. It's a pretty cool feature that he can take advantage of and have fun with. So we all got ambition. If you like our content and you haven't supported us that way, please support us that way. Make sure you sub to the channels. And look, it'll all be exciting. Hopefully we'll all make our goal. Hopefully Green Bean will hit 10K. I'll hit 2,000. You'll break 500 and be on your way to 1,000. But Adam, thank you. It was a great night. Appreciate it. Great show. Couldn't have done it without you.
Went fast, man. 2 hours, 20 minutes, just the two of us, and a crazy old chat. And man, the night just goes so fast.
Yeah.
Who knew that hump day would be the highlight of the middle of your week?
And to everybody out there, thanks for supporting the channel. We appreciate it so much. Can't tell you how much we appreciate everybody being here, filling the chat. To my members, to the people who did, super chats, to the people who just simply liked it and hung out and attended. We appreciate all of you. Thanks. We'll see probably most of you tomorrow at 8 o'clock Eastern. Take care, everyone. We are live. We got Harry W. We got Richie from Jets Media, Matt O'Leary, Iowa Jets fan, in the house. We got Dom C in the house. We got Steve, live, CEO of the Jet Lounge. So I knew I'd get rich on my channel. See what's going on. Yeah, there we go.
Jets by $1 million today.
Yeah.